Sister, how you do? Hey, what's up? Brother, how you do? Hey, what's up? Yeah, Shabab. My name is CJ Oman. Yeah, Shabab. Anatani in Kalam. In Sudan, there is Salam, there is Aman. In South Sudan, there is Salam, there is Aman. Manaya Bali, the Junubin Gali, there is Salam. Manaya Weri, the Kuluzu Gali, there is Salam. Salam fi biladi, fulahi juban. Ilmumele ahli, ilkeri masman. Salam fi biladi, ya Rabbi. يقوم لي أهلي الكريم اسمعني يرسلم كلنا كل سلام أين ماما ماما يرسلم أين جنة جنة يرسلم سلم الأمور بابا سلم الأمور سلم الأمور بابا سلم الأمور yeah 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 جنوبي مسيحيين ومسلمين يا جنوبي جيش ومواطنين يا جنوبي دكاترة ومهندسين يا جنوبي مثقفين وسياسيين يا جنوبي مزارعين وصيادين يا جنوبي نجي سوا بالسلام بوحدة وبأمان للسلام جاهزين للسلام يا سلام جاهزين للسلام للسلام مشتاقين أنا دير سلام كلنا هنا سلام عين ماما ماما دير سلام عين جنة جنة دير سلام سلم الأمور ماما سلم الأمور سلم الأمور ماما سلم الأمور yeah 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 Mama, how do you do? Hey, what's up? Baba, how do you do? Hey, what's up? Sister, how you do? Hey, what's up? Brother, how you do? Hey, what's up?
Hello, hi, dear viewers of Nile Nation Network. Welcome again. Today, we start a little bit late. We kind of change our time a little bit to start at 7 Pacific time. or West North America. Please join us, and we're going to be talking today about flood, the flooding that keep happening every here and then in South Sudan. And please share the video, or stick with us. And then later on, we need to also hear from you. What do you think about the flood? Uh, with with that, I will go and play some videos that we will see how the flood was really affecting South Sudan in the previous years, and then there is a chance also that this year also we will have another flood. There is a lot of reasons behind it, but please just come and join us and let us share our views together. مشاهديننا مشاهدي شبكة النيل الوطنية، مرحب بكم النهاردة يوم السبت. ويعني تأخرنا شوية، بدينا الساعة 7 حسب توقيت المحيط الهادي، ونتمنى انه تشاركونا، وبرضو حاولوا شاركوا الفيديو، ولو عندك زمن برضو بعد ما ننزل الرابط تقدر برضو تجي تشارك معنا، يكون كويس جدا. أنا حاسة هلعب فيديوين عشان نشوف الفيضانات اللي بتحصل في جنوب السودان من حين لآخر، وكيف تأثيرها على الوضع اللي عندنا في جنوب السودان. عايز برضو أرحب بأصدقائي المعايا في استوديو، مابور كونغ ويليام جولديت، وبرضو من خلف الكواليس الأخ سايمون. طبعا هو اللي بيرتب لنا الأمور دي كل، هو اللي في الكنترول. أبقوا معانا وشاركوا الفيديو، وهنتكلم عن ما هي أسباب الفيضانات النيل في جنوب السودان، وما هو الحل. خليكم معنا. The topic will be what are the causes of the Nile flood in South Sudan and what is the solution. So يعني خلينا نتفاكر مع بعض لأنه بيضر بينا شديد. وأنا طبعا أخوكم بال جوك أو بال ريد شول في التقديم. شكرا جزيلا، وشاركوا معكم فيديو أبغوا معنا. شكرا.
It's the world's largest swamp, but the flood in South Sudan's southern Leaf state is now home to 28-year-old Deborah Nyakwe. She fled her home in Lear Town several kilometers away because of fighting. Deborah now struggles to feed herself and her children.
Right now, we cannot do farming because of insecurity. If you take a risk and go home, you may lose your life. What makes me lose sleep is that during the rainy season, we farm on and off because of displacement. Floods also destroy our crops. We really suffer during the rainy season due to lack of shelter.
Deborah and her kids are now among the 7.5 million people out of South Sudan's 11 million population who rely on food aid. Years of fighting that started in 2013 and was largely brought to an end after a deal in 2018 resulted in nearly 4 million people being displaced. Many had to abandon their farms, which has led to food shortages. And last November's floods have made worse an already dire situation. The UN's World Food Programme says more than half of the 27 flood-affected counties are facing extreme levels of acute malnutrition. But delivering aid in a poor country like South Sudan is not easy. Bad roads mean airdrops have become the only way to reach many in remote areas like Nial, where Deborah has taken refuge. There's also the risk of famine.
We need to be supporting 5.5 million people in South Sudan with some form of food assistance. But if we don't get the resources to reach that many people, we're going to have to make some really tough choices. We're going to have to focus on alleviating the most food insecure people in the country, staving off hunger, stopping that famine in its tracks. But that also means that some people will fall through the gap. It means we won't be able to support everybody.
Children are the most at risk from the lack of food here. All their families can do now is hope that somehow they get the help they need. Cuba Morgan, Al Jazeera.
Live streaming can be tricky, and sometimes trying to find the right software to make your streams look really professional can be a real chore. The thing I like about StreamYard is that the user interface is really simple to understand and can give you a professional look without a whole lot of trying to figure out what you're supposed to be doing next.
Sorry, it seems like StreamYard, it has a lot of advertisement these days, so they keep popping up. Sorry about that. I'm gonna also play the next video so you guys can have a better understanding of how the flood is affecting us.
They've been described as the worst rains in living memory. Homes and property across South Sudan submerged under muddy water. Livestock killed, harvests decimated, livelihoods destroyed. The wet season started in July and has since flooded half of Sudan's 78 counties. Tens of thousands of people have fled their homes to seek dry land. But before the rains came, the dry season also brought displacement. Mother of seven, Borgo Paolo, fled her home when the floodwaters rose in her village in July. She had already twice been forced from her village this year because of ethnic fighting.
Our home was hit by floods before, so when this flood came, we left. We don't have plastic sheeting for shelter or a canoe. We were displaced by the fighting and we fled, but we came back.
A war that started in 2013 led to millions of people being displaced. Even though a ceasefire was signed 2 years ago, armed conflict and ethnic fighting persists. Regina Ngachan hasn't left her village, even though her home is surrounded by water. The nurse says she's doing what she can to help her sister, who fled from a nearby village of Gamorak when fighting broke out.
They have nothing. Just they came with empty hands. Everything I'm going to use now. Everything. If they are sick or they need anything from the market, I'm going supporting them.
A local field coordinator for Doctors Without Borders says the villagers there now have to contend with waterborne illnesses and malaria.
Huge rates of malaria positivity, which we're treating at clinics, kind of the mobile clinics. We're also seeing measles, a rise, a spike in measles cases here. We're also very concerned about food insecurity. 12 months of displacement has led to a lack or a food shortage in the area.
The flooding and violence has left people in desperate need of food, shelter and water. Many can't see an end to their suffering. Laura Gardimani, Al Jazeera.
Thank you so much, dear viewers. I know before we jump right into our topic, I think every time we try to do some highlights about our three regions, Equatoria, Great Equatoria, Great Bahar Ghazal, and Greater Upper Nile. I think for today, I don't see anyone will do for us the Greater Equatoria, but we have Mabor, Welcome, and William. At least they will give us some highlights about Greater Bahr Ghazal, including the administrative areas and also Greater Upper Nile. So we will start with Mabor, Welcome, to give us some highlights about Greater Bahr Ghazal. Go ahead.
But there's
Can you?
the
Oh,
team
okay.
that is,
Can you start again? There is few
there's a
words you
team that has been. Okay, thank you. So, in Greater Gadal, including the RBA, there's a team has been selected to go and take a look for of the administrative for the process of the RBA administrative between Sudan and South Sudan negotiating way to solve the RBA issue. That's the one thing that happened within RBA also too. The Maral, which is the group of Arab in the north, who always happen to have a situation with them, kill people within RBA administrative. I'm not verified how many people got killed. That's what I know so far. So, but it killed people, but I'm not well verified if it's 14 or 10. It's not well verified from our report. In Lagos State, there's two people who killed on the cattle raiding that raid 235 cattle raiding was in between eastern and south and the west Lagos State. So and also too within Wuliet peace process between Unity State and the Greater Bargadal, especially particularly Lagos State and Warab is being in process, and we are not yet hearing any result about it yet, but it will come out. We're still monitoring what will be the result for the peace process between the chiefs, only a civilian, not a politician. So that thing is running. Come to Western Bargadal, there is a person which is a doctor that died in Unity State, especially in Payinjar. It's not yet verified who killed the person, or he killed himself, or he got killed. It's not yet verified. It's not confirmed. So that person also too is been buried, and people offer their condolences to that. Come to Central Equatoria, because nobody is here today to give the information. Within Central Equatoria, there's a clerics from Archbishop that got killed by the South Sudanese SPDF, South Sudan Defense Force. That is not yet verified, but that's still an investigation. They say that it's been killed by the SPDF, but people are still in investigation. Also, too, the Red Cross shut down their activities within Unity State, especially particularly in Gainel's area and in Payinjar County, one Payam, and also too in Eastern Equatoria. Red Cross suspended their activities also too, was the cause that one worker, who is a doctor, got killed within Eastern Equatoria, and Red Cross also too suspended their activities until investigation finished. and also two within Eastern Equatoria, cleric within Catholic Church also too got killed, and people are still in investigation who killed the cleric. So this is all the report that I got. Back to you, Pam. Thank you.
Thank you so much, my boy. Welcome. But in all these things happening is all killing. There is nothing. There is no good news, like any development, anything. Nothing going on.
On all these issues, any kind of development, and I hear this in Rome mostly. It's not yet verified that within the 9th of this month that the police who are in training may be graduated, but I'm not yet confirming that yet. That's something is in the table. And another development, there was a training for all governors within the activities for their work, and all the things. I could say the governor of Western Bargadal pay visit to Vice President, and the governor pay visit to first Vice President, and the Deputy Governor of Upper Nile pay visit to Vice President, and also to pay visit to President.
Okay, let us have it there. Sorry, I push you for good news. Pretty much, we as a human, we like to hear about the bad news and things like that. But let me elaborate a little bit about the graduation of the police. تخريج بتاع الشرطة. تخريج بتاع الشرطة يعني أنا شفته وزير الداخلية بعد ما عمل زيارة ميدانية وشاف إنه الشرطة جاهز للتخريج. فبس حبيت أزود على الكلام اللي قاله مبور إنه خلاص هو أكد إنه الشرطة ده حسه جاهز، وطلع خلاص قرر إنه يخرجوهم يوم 9 شهر 6 اللي هو بعد بكرة أو الأسبوع الجاي، يوم الثلاثاء تقريبا أو يوم الأربع هيخرجوهم. لكن اللي أنا عايز أقوله بالنسبة للشرطة، طبعا هو قال كلام مهم جدا. هو قال، وده من المفروض احنا نعاقب عليه شويه، قال انه الشرطه ده خلاص جاهزين للتخريج. ما في زول يقول قال ده ما ماشي مع الترتيبات الامنيه الموقع عليها في اتفاقيه سلام المنشط. So these police personnel have to be graduated. It doesn't matter if people are saying that this one it doesn't go is like is a peace agreement a violation, but he was saying these people, they were there before the peace agreement. They were in the college, police college, before the peace agreement. So هسه يعني جاء الوقت إنه يطلعهم. We were not gonna wait. But here is the thing. Yes, if they were there, لو هم كانوا قاعدين هناك قبل اتفاقية سلام المنشط، اوكي، اللي اتوقع في 2018 واحنا حسه في 2021، ففي حاجة هناك ما حقيقة. لو ناس ديل قال خلاص هم قعدوا سنتين، لكن ده أكثر من سنتين وهم الدفعتين جايين. اوكي. So ده الدفعه اللي هيخرجوه ده الدفعه 22. لكن اللي احنا عايزين نقوله المشكله ما في انه تخرج الشرطه ديل، اوكي؟ المشكله في انه هل الشرطه ده لما يتخرج عندهم صلاحيات عشان يامنوا البلد؟ لانه تخريج الشرطه اللي قالوه في اتفاقيه السلام او كل القوات ال 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 الامنيه لازم يكون في توحد، يعني يكون قوات امنيه متوحد، يعني ما يكون مثلا حكومه براه يجيب ناس بتاعه يجندهم ويخرجهم زي ما عمل المره اللي فاتت مع توك توك. اوكي، خرجوا توك توك وحسه حيخرجوا بوليس ثاني. المشكله في انه الاطراف الموقعين على الاتفاقيه they are not part of it, like their police personnel are not part of it. It's the same thing like what happened to Tuek Tuek. So that is the problem. So what people of South Sudan need to do and to go with the peace agreement that was signed is all the signatories of the peace agreement should have their forces united all together and then train them and then graduate them, like assemble them, train them, and graduate them. Let it be whatever. There could be an army, there could be a police, there could be a correction officer, prison, and whatever. As long as all these parties, they have their security individuals trained and graduated. That is the only problem. But now the police that you graduated, are they going to make any difference? They will be like the other police that you have in all these cities that may be comprised of certain tribes, but also what do? They go with the agenda of young council of elders and Salva Kiir. So that is the only problem. So I think the Minister of Interior, he was wrong on that one. Sorry about that. But that was my view on that one. I don't want us to get out of the topic, but this is part of the highlights. I will go to William Goldie to give us also some highlights. And welcome, Brother Jeremiah. Thank you for coming. So, Brother William, do you have any highlights for us for Upper Nile? Any عناوين بارزة على النيل؟ وطبعا يكون شامل في جزء الأخبار الكويس والأخبار والما كويس، لكن ده شنو عندك؟ Tell us what you have.
Thank you, brother. شكرا بيل and شكرا Mabor, and welcome Jeremiah and Simon. Thank you, and viewer. قبل ما نقول الهايلايت عندي أنا بدي يعني to urge يعني الأخوان الجنوبيين كلهم والجنوبيات إن نحن جنوبيين القوة في يدينا. نحن الأخبار أننا بنشوفوها في الشاشات بتاع التلفزة، الحل بتاعهم ما في يد المسؤولين، الحل بتاعهم في يد احنا نينا الشعب. معناته إن مثلا لما نشوف إن في شيء غير منطقي أو غير قانوني أو غير إنسانية، فلازم نشوف إنه مثلا ندهنه وبعدين نفكر في نفس الوقت شو حل اللازم للمشكلة ده، لأنه ما ممكن نعيش في المشاكل اللي بنشوفه في الشاشات بتاع التلفزة. أنا عايش في كندا هون، يمكن في برنامج بلش مع الفيرست نيشن. أنت شفت الظروف بتاع الفيرست نيشن في نورث أمريكا، يعني يمكن في أيام المطر في 215 طفل في مدرسة واحد وفي 139 مدارس. فالكلام جاب الكلام ده شنو؟ في برنامج اللي هو فيرست نيشن قبل سنين لورا بلشوا برنامج بيقول idle no more، معنى انت ما ممكن تسكت، ما في سكوت تاني. فياو كلام ده سر جماعة بقى يتحركوا خلاص، والموفمنت بتاعه ياو جاب النتائج اللي بنشوفه أسرع. شفت كيف؟ ثانيا في برنامج بقوله باي ستاندرز. يمكن عندنا اخواننا في كندا هون بالسود بالذات، البلاك بيبول في امريكا وفي كندا وفي اوروبا كمان، يعني في إهانة وفي تفرقة عنصرية موجودة. الناس بقتلوها، انت ماشي من البيت لشغل يمكن ما هترجع. ففي باي ستاندرز، الانسان اللي بيشهد العملية ده هو بقوم بيحمل الفيديو، وفيديو ده بيشاركه مع العالم. يا كلام ده نينا شفنا يوم داك مع جورج فلويد، ونتيجة بتاعه ربنا في شنو. سو باي ستاندرز اللي بشوف الكلام الما كويس وبيحرق الدنيا. فلذلك نحن جنوبين لما نشوف ان في كلام في الاخبار ما كويس، اننا كمان ما نخليه يمشي هيك، لازم يكون في قرار شخصي او مجموع ان ممكن يرد على الكلام ده عشان نطلع من مأزق ده. فالهايلايت بتاع اليوم انا ببلش بالشيء الكويس اللي هو انت طبعا بيعرفين ان المشكله بتاع الملكال هو معكال هو مشكله كبيره. وكان في مشكله هنا مثلا في مشكله في تعيين المحافظ بتاع المعكال. بأمر الله يمكن تم تعيين محافظ لملكال في شهر المطر النهاية بتاع شهر 5. والكويس إنه حكومة بتاع الملكال يمكن كلهم من الأطراف كله مختلفة، في هو المواطنين بتاع الملكال من الشلوك دانكا نوير مابان كلهم يمكن موجودين في الحكومة، هم شغالين مثلا يجلسوا الأمن بتاع الولاية ويرجع للأمن للمواطنين بتاعهم. فده خبر كويس إن مثلا صار عندهم محافظ اسمه شارلز شور. أما بالنسبة
قبل ما تمشي حسا يعني مدينة ملكال فيه عمدة وفيه محافظ، الاثنين خلاص عينوهم.
يس
اوكي جود اوكي تمام اوكي
يا سو ده خبر كويس للمواطنين، لانه المواطنين تعبوا كتير. كله المواطنين بتاع على النيل كله الخمسه قبائل كل الموجودين تعبوا كلهم. يعني ما ممكن نغوش انفسنا ان مثلا في ناس اسن او دنكا او شلوك او نوير او مابان، كل ناس تعبانين كلهم. يمكن الانسان ما تعبان هو يمكن الانسان مستفيد من البرنامج بتاع الحكومه. والشيء الثاني اللي هو المصدر هو في نيامالبيديا في يوم 1 شهر ده، وبقول ان ال SPLM-IO تحت قيادة الدكتور ياك مشر وإدانة الحكومة، لأن الحكومة حملوا احتجاج ان الفرض او تجديد للعقوبات للدولة جنوب السودان ان ما يجيب السلاح. هو حكومة بقول إن مثلا بيعمل قرار يعني بيحسر بالسلام، بدل أيوه بقول لا، الكلام ده ما بيحسر بالسلام، ما في أي علاقة بينهم. فده كلام الأيوه قالوا. والشيء الثاني هو في عشان هيك شفنا إن الحرب ده خسر أخلاقياتنا. في طفل عمره 8 سنة، البنت صغيرة جدا، في شخص يتدعى عليه تحرش جنسية، ثم هو ضابط بوليس. هو كلام ده يوم 2 في شهر ده، ضابط بوليس اسمه جادو مايكل، وحكم عليهم ب14 سنة في السجن بسبب التداعي للطفل الصغير هذا. يمكن ده الجنة بتاعهم. ده كلام كويس إن مثلا الإنسان بيعمل شيء غير أخلاقي وغير إنسانية لازم يتحكم، وده كويس إنه حكومة جنوب السودان قدر إنه يحكم الشخص ده. ولا آخر شيء الموجود عندنا اللي هو اليونمس، هو عم بيقولوا إنه ممكن يساعدوا بالتجهيز للدستور جنوب السودان. ويمكن انتم طبعا بتعرفين ان مشكل بتاع الدستور ده هو ياو دخلنا في الحرب الموجودة سرا. فالتجهيز الدستور هو مهم كتير. والمنظمة الدولية بقول إن مثلا بدخل عشان يقدر يساعد حكومة جنوب السودان لل constitutions drafting. Yeah, so this is what all I have, Pell, and thank you.
شكرا جزيلا. بس أنا كنت بس عايز أعلق برضو على شيء. أنا ما أعرف لو أخي جرمايا لو عنده أي عناوين بارزة عايز مثلا يقول لنا 2 أو 3. لكن خليني أعلق على شيئين. أول حاجة التخرج بتاع الدفعة 22 شرطة جنوب السودان. أنا بس داير أقول لهم يا جماعة أنتوا ربما يعني عينوكم خارج اتفاقية سلام المنشط، لكن يا أخي خليكم ناس وطنيين وأبقوا أولاد البلد وبنات البلد وأعملوا الحقيقة، يعني أعملوا الصح. أنتوا شباب ناس متعلمين، فيا ريت بصرف النظر أنت من ياتو قبيلة أنت من ياتو قبيلة، يا أخي القبلية ما بيودينا لقدام خالص. فأنا بنصحكم يعني لو واحد منكم شاف الفيديو ده كلنا مبسوطين، هننبسط بالتخريج بتاعكم يوم 9. انتوا دفعة 22 ويمكن بعد 45 يوم برضو زي ما وزير قال هيخرجوا دفعة تاني. لكن يا جماعة خليكم ناس وطنيين، ما تفرقوا أهلكم الجنوبيين، كلنا سوا. ما في زول هيطرد التاني خالص من جنوب السودان ده، ما في زول هينتهي من أي قبيلة تاني في جنوب السودان ده. فأعملوا الصح. العالم مشي لقدام، احنا قاعدين نمشي لورا. ان شاء الله بسببكم الحراميه يبقوا ما فيشين في جنوب السودان، النون جانمن يبقوا ما فيشين في جنوب السودان، لانه انتوا شدوا حيلكم وما تسمعوا كلام بتاع اباكم ولا اعمامكم اللي قلوبهم ملا بعنصريه وقبليه. انتوا بس اعملوا الصح، لانه جنوب السودان ده ليكم انتوا كشباب، انتوا المستقبل بتاع جنوب السودان. ما تخلي اباكم يضيعوه وانتوا بعدين ما حتلقوا حاجه ذاته تخطوا عليه حجر، لانه البلد هينتهي. فاسمعوا الكلام وخليكم عيال وطنيين وشباب وطنيين واعملوا الصح لجنوب السودان. انا برضو عايز اقول انه يا اخي بصراحه يونمت الموجود في ابيي انا شخصيا بقيت تعبان منه، لانه كل مره عرب الروح المسيريه بيجوا يقتلوا ناس ويطلعوا منه كده زي شعر من عجينه. اوكي، قتلوا كبير عمد الناظر من كم سنه يعني وما عملوا لهم اي حاجه، وكان يونمد موجودين. اوكي، ولا اونمس انا ما اعرف هم يونمد ولا اونمد انا ما اعرف. نسيت بين الاثنين. انا عارف عندنا في جنوب السودان يونمس بس الثاني داك اونميد ولا حاجه زي كده. anyway، لكن وجودهم يا اخي هناك في ابيي ذاته بقى ما له اي مصلحه. يعني احسن من المفروض بعد كده الشباب زي ما شد هيلهم وقدروا يدافعوا عن الاطفال ويقدروا يدافعوا على النسوان اللي هناك، حتى لو مات منهم 10 ولا 11 ولا 17، لكن يعني كان حمايه لاهلهم اللي كانوا ممكن يروحوا ضحيه. فانا شايف انه عرب المسيريه ولا الروح الليل بيقتل الناس كل مره في ابيي، وما سمعنا يوم طلقه واحد من ناس يونميد عشان يوقف الناس في حدودهم. انا ما اعرف، المفروض شعب جنوب السودان يبقى عندهم راي في اليونميد الموجود هناك. anyway، قبل ما نمشي لموضوعنا، طبعا موضوعنا اليوم زي ما احنا قلناه. قبل ما اخش في الموضوع طبعا عايز اشوف جرمايا، لكن موضوعنا اليوم what are the causes of the Nile flooding in South Sudan and what is the solution. بالعربي ما هي أسباب الفيضان النيل في جنوب السودان وما هو الحل. لكن قبل ما نخش في موضوعنا أخي جرمايا لو عندك أي عناوين بارزة عايز تقوله يكون كويس. النهار الليله موعدنا بس زمننا ساعتين. اوكي. زمن خلاص بيجي يجري. اوكي، خلينا نشوف. اخ جرمايا، عندك اي عناوين بارزه؟ 2 كده ولا 3 ولا 1 حاجه كده شفته في الاخبار ولا سمعته في الاخبار وانت قلت لازم تقوله الليله ده؟
Thank you, brother Paul, Mabor, William Goldit, and the rest, including those who are looking now, the viewers. In fact, I don't have any information to share with you, and just I will continue with the rest of discussion in terms of contribution. But currently, I don't have any information, and thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I think for those who just join us now, let me just bring you to speed. I will play one more video.
Pal?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, أنا داير نضيف كلام أنت قلته عشان أخواننا في الشرطة ومبروك عليهم. I just want to raise this لأنفسنا وللأخواننا في البوليس، إن لازم يكون في وعي تام. البوليس طبعا في الشيء أنا بعرف يمكن في two police or two section that would be federal and provincial. And when we say provincials, that is the state of one of 10 state plus 2 administrative areas. They will have their own police, and they are responsible for them, and the police are answerable to them. And so I hope that because that is is very important. What is killing us now is when we create the system and we don't apply it. That is a problem. So, but when we know and we respect the institution, that is very important. That we have 2 police, the police of the state and the federal police. So for us as the people of Southern Sudan, we have to promote that and support those who are in 2 different categories. Thank you. This is what I want to say. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for that, because we see in this Western world here there is 2 kind of police, the federal one and the city police. But a lot of cities also we have here, they are using the federal police, but also some other cities they have city police, which is good, because that is empower the children.
Local authority, yeah.
Local authority, yeah. Okay, let me share with you this video about the flood, just to bring the viewers that just join us now, to bring them up to speed about our topic today. And later on, when we drop the link, if you have anything you want to share with us, you're welcome. It's just 2-minute video. Just bear with us. Be patiently there. We just want to make a point. Okay.
They've been described as the worst rains in living memory. Homes and property across South Sudan submerged under muddy water. Livestock killed, harvests decimated, livelihoods destroyed. The wet season started in July and has since flooded half of Sudan's 78 counties. Tens of thousands of people have fled their homes to seek dry land. But before the rains came, the dry season also brought displacement. Mother of 7, Borgo Paolo, fled her home when the floodwaters rose in her village in July. She had already twice been forced from her village this year because of ethnic fighting.
Our home was hit by floods before, so when this flood came, we left. We don't have plastic sheeting for shelter or a canoe. We were displaced by the fighting and we fled, but we came back.
A war that started in 2013 led to millions of people being displaced. Even though a ceasefire was signed 2 years ago, armed conflict and ethnic fighting persists. Regina Ngachan hasn't left her village, even though her home is surrounded by water. The nurse says she's doing what she can to help her sister, who fled from the nearby village of Gamurak when fighting broke out.
They have nothing. Just they came with empty hands. Everything I'm the one doing it now. Everything. If they are sick or they need anything from the market, I'm the one supporting them.
A local field coordinator for Doctors Without Borders says the villagers there now have to contend with waterborne illnesses and malaria.
Huge rates of malaria positivity, which we're treating at clinics and at the mobile clinic. We're also seeing measles, a rise or a spike in measles cases here. We're also very concerned about food insecurity. 12 months of displacement has led to a lack or food shortage in the area.
The flooding and violence have left people in desperate need of food, shelter and water. Many can't see an end to their suffering. More about Amani Al Jazeera.
Is HelloFresh worth the price? Absolutely.
شكرا لكم. بس بنعتذر تاني، ظاهر اليوتيوب بقى عنده دعاية كتير، فمعلش يعني سامحونا. موضوع النهارده ما هو أسباب فيضانات النيل في جنوب السودان، وما هي الحل أو ما هو الحل. لو أنتم لاحظتوا الفيديو اللي احنا لعبناه قبل شوية ما فيديو بتاع السنة اللي فات، يمكن سنين اللي قبله، لكن شفنا في السنة اللي فاتت يعني بالمواقع الإعلامية كلها شفنا منطقة بور جابوه كتير، حتى إنه ناس بتاع بور جزء منهم نقلوهم لمنطقة استوائية الأسطى عشان يمشوا يقعدوا هناك شوي. This has become something repetitive every here and then. We have flood, we have flood, we have flood. And as you see, flood is destroy everything. يعني الفيضان بيهدم حاجات كتير، البيوت بتغرق، الحيوانات الأليفة زي البقر والغنم ديل يعني بيتعرضوا للموت، الناس بترحل من مناطقها اللي هم متعودين عليه ويمشوا لمناطق تانية خالص، وفي المناطق التانية كمان بيتعرضوا كمان لأنه عدم القبول. ومشكلة وبس، كمان في أمراض ملازمة للفيضانات الحاصلة، من ملارياهات الزايدة، سيبك من إنه also people running away from water including the snakes, and a lot of people get also bitten by snakes. Some of them survive and some of them die. But as we see, we think that it's become a concern. The flood, it didn't start just only yesterday. It started years way back, even before maybe some of us were born. But I cannot blame the previous government before independence، لأنه ما كان في أي حاجة في يدهم، ما عندهم سلطة ذاته عشان يقولوا شنو. Because if we see now, you will see Sudan اللي احنا كنا فيه، Northern Sudan, it has maybe about 5 dams at the Blue Nile, at the White Nile, and one on the Nile going to Egypt. Maybe there is other small ones, but do we have any in South Sudan? And really, it was a problem for them at that time, the government of Sudan, to build a dam for us, at least to help. But there is a lot of things that can be done. I'm not going to say them all, but I have brothers with me here on the studio. So also, they can air their views ويقولوا لنا إيش الممكن يكون الحلول. لكن قبل ما نشوف الحلول عايزين نسأل ما هي الأسباب المسببة الفيضانات. What are the main reason causing these floods? This would be a first question, and I think we're going to rotate that as we answer this question. What are the main causes of rain? Of the floods. I think my tongue slipped there and I mentioned one of them already. Forgive me for that. But I'm supposed to leave it to you guys to answer it. So, Mabur, if you can answer me, like, let us keep it brief because we don't have much time. Let us keep it brief.
Thank you, Pel. Well, you know, like you mentioned it, the floodings was there for a long time. I remember the very big flooding that in that during I were in Bilpam, young boy, Bilpam, not somewhere in Bilpam. That was the first flooding that I faced in my entire life. That was 88. That flood, it was the time that it cut us up between Bilpam and Eton, where the UN should give us the food. It cut us into that small island that we suffer a lot for almost 4 months, no food. That is small highlands. We use only the grass that came in, especially there's a one was, I don't know, those kind of leaves, tree leaves and grass leaf, those can be cookable. Like the one that I saw online was a woman in Bargadal and said, this is what we're eating for 2 years because there's no food. This is what we eat for 4 months. No food coming from Hitang. Whereas there is a food that nobody even eat it.
So now you went to my second questions. What are the problems that are caused by the flood? But actually, the cause of the flood, like to your best of knowledge, what causes the flood?
That's what I'm trying to say.
Because yeah, you went to the food, and that will be the next question. How do people survive that later on?
Yes. So coming to this, that's the first flood that I faced, and I faced it there. I saw it. Compare it to these 3 years now, since 2000 and not 3 years only, 2008, and then a little bit, didn't go that far, but 2017, 2018, and 2019, and this is coming now as a 21. It's become too much. It killed a lot of people. There is a disease called bilharzia, and that bilharzia caused by a shell, you know, a snail. It's the part of the effect that affect people now in South Sudan, and affected animal also too. That's what makes the whole animal wipe off. We become to have no animal, and there's no food to be grown up because
we will come to that. We will come to that. We will come to that. I'm not trying to stop you, but I felt like you're not answering my question. Somebody by Tong Akol, he say is a global warming, right? Is the cause of that. Which I understand. Yes, there is a global warming, but as you mentioned, 1988, I think. I'm not sure even Akok at that time the term global warming maybe it didn't exist yet, because I remember I was in Khartoum at that time when that flood happened, and we have our car. We were driving a car and they have to stop in the middle of the road because water get inside it. So we have to stay there till morning. Because we don't know what is happening on the street. You don't want to, the half of the car already submerged inside the water. So we just left our foot, they stay in the car there till morning, and that's all we can see. We were coming from a party at that time. But yes, at that time you were at Bill Palm as a Red Army, maybe you were well trained and things like that. So, but at that time, we had no idea about the global warming at that time because it just started. And people now start working in programs like Islah al Bi'a. So at least the Arctic ice, so it shouldn't melt and then cause the flooding. But I think there is more into that. The flood that happening maybe in maybe in 1950s or 1960s. It's happening a lot, like really, especially in South Sudan. We know we live in a swamp; it's a valley, but actually there is things that causing that. So, if I can go to William, what are the causes of the flood? I know Mabur want to go to the problems that is causes it, the diseases, and people have to survive on certain kind of food. We will come to that. But what are the main causes of the flooding? Leave alone the global warming that my brother Tong was saying.
Yeah, thank you, Pal. Yeah, let me put it this way. I think to be on this earth is not by surprise. There is a goodwill and intention of the creators that has put us on this earth, you know. And I think we if we go back to Bibles and when God created the world we live in now, I think God started with water, land, and waters before even creating the human. And after the creation of all these uh, uh, places, and then the human was even created from the ground, taken from the mud, you know, and then assign that human to subdue everything on the earth and be in charge of everything. So, no, if we come to the Nile, if you see them, like the Nile is flowing from Africa and then ending in the Mediterranean Sea. There is no any interruption. The Nile know where it come from and the Nile know where it is going. But no, with our human interventions, when we intervene to change what God has created, of course, it's come with negative consequences. So one of the intervention
William,
of
some viewers are saying that you're kind of sinking down. Can you get up a little bit? You're
oh
kind
okay
of
okay
okay.
sorry, yeah, so one of the intervention of the human is the construction of the dam. And I think how many decades now that is the high dams, Aswan Dam, the high Aswan Dam. I think there is a obvious uh, abuse or violation of what God has created. Yet the human come with a capacity to say, I want to do this. So Egyptian, I think they have constructed the dam for the benefit of the Egyptian without any consultations with the people down or where the water come from. No consultation. So no, if the waters has been created by God to flow from where they start, they call it Lake Victoria, up to the Mediterranean, free, and now the dam has been constructed. So the control of the water flow or regulations of water at the Aswan Dam, what are they doing here? They regulate the flow of the waters. Now it has been naturally, water is flowing by itself, but now human is saying, no, I will dictate the way you flow. So the velocity or surra بدل مويه بيجي من الليك فيكتوريا وحبر جنوب السودان ويوغندا لغايه شمال السودان. لما يوصل غريب مثلا لأسوان دام، السرعة بقل، السرعة بقل قبل ما يوصل للدام للأسوان. فأنت لما يقل السرعة معناته وقفت المويه ما يمشي كعادي. تشوف بيعمل إذا واحد هنا مثلا أكلت أكل كتير أنت تطرج مو زيك you vomit. So now أنت خنقت الفلو بتاع الواتر هنا ما يمشي بالحرية. لذلك هنا مثلا الوتر المويه بتمشي في جنوب السودان بتصير فيضانات. ولما بالضبط يوصل للسد بتاع أسوان بيكون زيرو. في الوقت داك السرعة بيكون زيرو. There is no movement, there is no flowing of the water. It becomes zero.
So, William,
yeah.
so for us to agree, right? Because this is what I was want to hear. So the main cause is the rain. That's what you're saying, and then.
No, I'm not saying the rain. No, I'm not. I'm saying
say the rain.
Dam.
Okay.
No, I didn't say it. Because the rain will always fall, but the God is still in them. Go, continue. But the way they are going has been blocked, and the flow of the water is being now regulated, being controlled at the Oswan Dam. So that is why we have a problem, and nobody know that. So if the rain come, and then the water, of course, will go where they have to go naturally, and then they will flow and up to the Mediterranean Sea. But no, Egyptian with the Aswan Dam, they have to control the flow of the water. Why they are controlling it? When they need the water, they reserve the water as much as they need. Let's say in a dry season, there is no too much water. So the Egyptian will restore the water. And we will not share that water with them anymore because they need more water. They will take it for what they need for agriculture or whatever they are doing. But now what will happen in Southern Sudan or in the Uganda or where or in Ethiopia, we will have a drought. اللان بيكون ناشف في جفاف. اوكي لما يكون هنا مثلا في مويه كتير في وقت بتاع المطر والإجف you don't need the water, you have enough, you don't need that, and then you will regulate and you will stop the water, and then what you get from that time, you got the flooding. No, that is a problem. That is a problem. And for Egypt, the water they have, I think Lake Nasser, what do they call it? Lake Nasser, right? Lake Nasser.
Lake Nasser or Lake? Let me take a look at it.
Lake Nasser, yeah.
Yeah.
Lake Nasser.
I'm trying to look for it. Lake something.
Yeah. So anyway,
Lake Nasser. Lake.
So this
Nasser.
lake is not a river; it's a man-made river, right? So how long it is? It is, I think, is around 500 kilometers. Okay, so the water that has been restored now will go to that lake and will go to the agriculture or for industrial activities and all this one. So they have enough water for whatever
Yeah,
they need.
that lake is so huge. It's from Halfa up to Aswan.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
it's huge, and that is a man-made. And now, if Egypt has intervened with the nature, was there any consultation with other nations that share the water with them? No. So since there is no any consultation, who decide and if there is a negative consequence, who discuss them? That we're going to have a flooding, we're going to have a drought. So there should be a committee from all those countries to study the consequence of constructing the dam wherever it is. And then now, what would be the solution? Those committee, they can also work out the solution, but
And
nothing in that kind.
and that for sure we will leave it later on when you elaborate more into the solution. When
Yeah.
people come to agreement and things like that.
Yeah. So to answer, in my understanding, to answer the question, is a construction of high dam, known as Aswan, that cause us the flooding and the drought. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Jeremiah, before I come to Mabor, because Mabor also with a living witness to the flood that they experienced when they were in Bilpam. And he will come and tell us how did they survive it. And he will tell us a lot about it. So now coming to you, Jeremiah, William mentioned one dam, which is the high dam, Sadd al Ali, that was built by Egyptian, and that one actually a big city, I think they call it Halfa al Gadima, submerged all of it underwater. And I think sometime every once in a while when it goes down, at that time there is a mosque that you can see that tower of mosque or something like that. But are you aware, or also along the Nile, that there is other dams that built by Sudanese that also has an effect exactly like what William was saying. And Uganda also, I think they have a dam. So what do you think really the main cause of these floods that is happening to us in South Sudan?
Thank you very much, brother, brother Paul. Yeah, the main cause of the flood in South Sudan, the one factor is geographical position of South Sudan. That is one. Why am I saying so? East Africa is an highland. We talk about Uganda and Kenya is an highland. So South Sudan is below, is down. Now, and East Africa, especially Uganda, is very fertile land because of the mountain it has, and has a lot of lakes. So, Ugandan position is attracts rainfall. We need rain too much in Uganda. All the water from the mountain flow into the river Nile. Now, when you reach to South Sudan, it is just flat. That is why it affects a great Upper Nile. It starts from Jungle up to Kosti. It affects normally the areas along the Nile. As I have mentioned, Jungle and Great Upper Nile going to the north. It does not affect the equatorial because part of the mountain range from East Africa, they end in equatorial. So equatorial during floods always they are not affected by the flood. And I want to say River Nile is the longest river in the world. No other river like it. It's the longest river in the world. And it originated from Lake Albert in Uganda, in which I myself, I went and saw the originator of the River Nile. I saw it where it came out from Lake Albert around at the end of 20, at the end
I
of
got a
20, of
question.
2012.
I got a question because
I
we
saw
learn
it.
also. I got a question because we learn now. You're telling us a different lake right there, but we heard as we were being taught several times, it's coming from Lake Victoria, and Lake Victoria started from somewhere like Tanzania, Rwanda, and Burundi. I think they have a share of part of it has come through Uganda, and then I think the biggest part of the Lake Victoria, it's in Uganda. Is it the same lake you are talking about? Because the Lake Victoria, they say the same lake that going and then form a Nile and go upward. That is why it become one of the world wonders because it's going up north, and most of them like they go down. So what that Lake Albert, is it the same like Lake Victoria or what is it?
Yeah, Lake Victoria, it is around countries, and Lake Albert, like it came out from Lake Victoria, and that was exactly this is exactly what I know. It did not come out from the Lake Victoria. It came out from Lake Albert, and Lake Albert is from Lake Victoria. They are just together. But I went by myself and saw where the River Nile came out from. But we have to Google to confirm if maybe I can got confused or not. But I do have a belief it came out from Lake Albert. And to tell you something a bit uh, uh, from Numli up to Juba, kelen da gul barabi buakar magadem shi bainap lano babur biakar bas fi Juba lano inak de Jubal yani el riba Nile zadu ogel Jubal عشان كده تبقى تسمع حاجه بقول ميل بقول افولا في نملي يعني ده جبل يوجا او نايل كاشا فوقه وديق النايل ميل النايل بيجي ديق يوم بيجي بيجري شديد ده ياو سبب بتاع افولا ده يعني اذا مطر نزل في يوغندا تبت ما صوت مويه في مسات نملا نكون نونو قاعد نمشي فوق بدري سان ما كنا في العمليات عشوا في 1994. So أنا بعرف ميلا تمام. إذا أنا ما جيت قلت the geographical position بتاع South Sudan يا track rains. This is the factor, and to my rain in East Africa, and also River Nile, and again via beta swamp areas around Upper Nile area. There are a lot of small rivers there, and another factor may be like Brother William talk about it. Dam in Egypt, I will not go by it again because it's already exhausted that point. And then again, what I saw in Uganda, there is a way they control water. I saw it with my eye when we are entering to Kampala. They call it Karuma or what, but they control water there. It is where the river Nile first. Whether it's a dam or what, I was not sure about it, but I passed over it in Uganda. Now, the three countries now, Uganda has a way of controlling water, and Sudan has a way of controlling water through dam, and even Egypt. The only country which has no mechanism to control the water, the flow of water, to protect its citizens is South Sudan. South Sudan did not initiate initiative how to deal with the flooding in South Sudan and River Nile in particular by constructing dam, or to renegotiate with the countries sharing the River Nile basin. Like we know all of them. When there's some countries or there's some conference or initiative, normally at the level of African Union and even some world at the international level, about sharing the water of the River Nile among those countries. So this is, we are not going to, I am not saying, or government of South Sudan cannot be blamed about it, but what we can say is just is to try to find a way to control the flow of water by constructing dam, like as I said, or we review the
and of course we will come to that. We will come to that as you exhausted your point there about what really causing the floods. But we will come to solution. That's why at the end we need to look for solution. And I want you to hold on there on your what you think could be the solution, if you don't mind. But let me assure to you, yes, you are right. The Lake Albert, that is where the White Nile coming from. Okay, so I think we were being misled by the Lake Victoria. I don't know. I like after we become adult, we should supposed to do our own research. But yes, it's coming from Lake Albert. And also, I want to assure you thing, because I remember Salva Kiir was saying that Uganda opened their dams, and he want also the Sudanese and the Egyptian to do so. So at least the water will flow smoothly. How that will be really implemented by the two governments of Sudan and Egypt, I'm not sure of that. Okay, but let me go to Mabur. As Mabur, you witnessed the 1988. At that time, I was in Khartoum. We had the flood too. We have the flood, but it could be different because our flood maybe is caused by Jabal Olia Dam was open, and Duaim Bahr Al Abyad Dam was open, and of course there is a huge rain happened also that day, and of course the White Nile was fully flow. So and Khartoum become at that time submerged certain areas underwater. But you were there in Bilpam. How did you survive it? And if you can just share with us how that experience looked like when you have to lose your shelter, you have to lose what you're supposed to eat, and also there is these waterborne diseases coming along. Tell us, like, how did you survive it?
Well, like you mentioned it, actually we did not lose shelter. To be honest, we did not lose shelter because we were in the highland. That nothing should come into that island, which is Bilpam itself, that will move to Juba. What we lose is the food, because it cut us off from the area that there's a UN that you get up in Yitang in the morning around 7 in the morning and reach Bilpam around 4:30 or 5 by foot. But it cut us off from there because everywhere is flooding. So we were in that small island. We feed ourselves with only a fruit, not fruit, like a leaf. That's the only thing that we was been using, and it's so flooding. Actually, it comes with a small fish. I don't know that kind of fish. It have no shell, but it have a big mouth that open, but it's very skinny one. I don't know what did they call. I don't know.
I think that will be catfish.
It's not a. Actually, it's like a catfish, but it's not a catfish.
Okay.
It is small. Also, too, it have something in the back also too that if you walk around, it can even snip you with a pins on it. Actually, those are the ones. So you have to go to the river in the morning early. If you catch 4 of them, you will survive for the whole night. and they're small one like this, very small. You know, they're very small. So you brought everybody. So that's what helped us out. It took us 4 months. Believe me, 4 months, nothing, no food coming, and no boat. You know, in Ethiopia, there's no boat. Now they just build boat now. They even build a boat now. But before, they don't. Because they don't have a river that can take boat in and all this. But they build it now because they have to pass through South Sudan and Ethiopia. That's the only thing that they have now. And they have to go to Akobo. So that's the survive that we were in. And we did not know that we will be surviving within the field park. And that thing, you cannot even say you will escape going to Ita. You cannot survive. Well, although you are an elderly person, because the flood is too much and it's deep. And there is a river, which is Sobat River. It's coming and it's flow from it, you know. So that flood, we even hear it in the radio that it even damaged the Khartoum, you know. Although we put our propaganda in that all Amarad is being gone in Khartoum, we were dying. We were celebrating sometime that Khartoum is being Amarad Kullu gone. So they are in the bush like us. So that was a little propaganda, and I knew it. That was not helping. But this is the issue that I know, and if I know that. That's the feeling that I have now. If I have that kind of feeling, and it happening to my own people in South Sudan for whole 4 years now, how it look like to me, it's a very danger. Survival is limit. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Mabor. But now I just want to move to something else. You know, I think all of us, as you mentioned, Mabor, you guys were in a little bit highland. Now, as we know that, I think there is also a flood that it's on the way coming also this year. As I mentioned to you, Salva Kiir say Uganda opened their dams, so he want also Sudan and Egypt to open their dams, because as William mentioned, the behavior of human The rain have to come. The rain have to come. As Jeremiah say, Uganda has good forests and attract these rains, and then it's raining like through the year. For us in South Sudan, we have the autumn season, which is raining like, I don't know, 5 months, 4 months, right? So it's a lot of water. It's a lot of water. And we know that we are kind of a valley, which causes us to be in a swamp. Okay, we have certain areas that are a little bit elevated above the river level. Now, as we see, people from Bor were moved to Mangala. That caused an issue. Okay, people start getting worried about land grabbing and all these kind of things. Not maybe for people of Mangala, maybe they will go back. We know land grabbing, it has a different route. It's happened before the flood. Even before the flood happens, there was the issue of land grabbing. And I see even also somewhere by Jabal Lado, people rush there and they start putting their houses and putting the numbers that the land was sold to them. So the city of Juba have to kick them out. So now, as we know that flood is coming, people have to go to the high land. What do you recommend here? I think in our areas, like I see, because the South Sudan TV didn't show really all South Sudan, the flood was happening. But I saw one of the documentaries by Al Jazeera, like in Cholo Kingdom, they have to move out. They have to move maybe close to Nuba Mountains, right? So people start moving to the highland. But because they were moving in their land, there was no issue, them grabbing any land of somebody. So what would you recommend now at this time of rain coming? The flood is going to happen because of the human behavior along the White Nile and the Nile. So what do you recommend, all three of you, people moving to highlands? Okay, so which area they should move to? Is it a different state, or supposed to be was in their state and moved to the highland was in their state? What is your take on that, Jeremiah?
First of all, it is good to identify the areas normally affected by the flood. And as I said, it mostly affects Jungale, in particular Bor, and Malakal Shulu Kingdom, as you have said. Really, this is where government is supposed to intervene, because the government has bad record. Whatever it will be doing or whatever it does or will be telling to the people of South Sudan will not be accepted, because the government has very bad record of land grabbing. Solution, or let me say, when Bor is affected, then people shift to Mangala. And then in Mangala, where will they stay unless you have a fine place where to build your house? Now, by doing so, they've been accused of land grabbing. That's why I am saying government could have talked to those people and try to intervene peacefully and to make sure issue of land grabbing should not come up during the flood. Bor, actually, you cannot say it need to be transferred somewhere. And I think they may not accept, but it requires it requires development infrastructures, and development itself can be part of a solution, because there will be bridges and road will be okay, and then even the state can try to find a way to channel the flood water back to the river Nile, or they can build high they can build a high, I mean, they can build the river Nile bank so that it cannot reach the residential area. These are these things can be done. And
let me ask you a question.
Yeah,
let me ask you a question. You say Bor, they cannot go somewhere else, but they have other areas like the eastern Jonglei. Okay, we saw the video there. We were showing Pibor was submerged underwater. I was confused. Which flood is that? Okay, because the Pibor was also submerged underwater, right? But there is other areas like Wad, like Akobo, those areas of eastern Jonglei. The people from Bor should move up there because it still is part of their land, it's part of their estate. And if they move there, no one will say that you are coming to grab my land. What do you think of that?
That's why I'm saying,
unless those are Wad and Nakobo are submerged underwater too.
Yeah, that is good. I am in support of that one. That's why I was saying to move Bor out from where it is. It depends on the will of these people. Whether if they are willing, then they can do so. But anything need to be negotiated. It should be through government of South Sudan. Now, as you have mentioned, some of the part in the eastern part of Jungle is a good. I mean, it is a dry area, or it is areas which flood down region. It is good, but government has to go to talk to those one of Akoba or what, or the places you have mentioned. It should be the initiative of the government, but it will have backlash because the government is not trusted by the people, because the government is the one initiated land grabbing in the country. So this one really it is a disaster, and the people of Bor, the Bor community, they will continue suffering if the solution is not found by the government to negotiate with the areas. This is what I can say about it.
Thank you. So, Mabor, I know areas of some areas in between Lagos State and Bantu area. Also, last year they had experienced the flood, and we see some videos like the livestock were dying like crazy, and there is certain kind of waterborne diseases that come with it. So, to your experience, where did the people move to after the flood was taking their area? Where did they move? Please. Okay, we can hear you. Let me unmute you, or you can unmute yourself.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for reminding me that when
I
I
know that
finish,
you are talking because you keep lifting up your hand, maybe praying to God or something. No flood this year.
Actually, when things happening like what happened in 2008 until this year, the people of Unity State in particular, all of them are in lower land. You know, there's no underice land at all. Come to Payanjar, come to Lar and Mayandit, go to Koch and go to let's say to I've never been in come to Rupkoni and go to Gwit. All those areas when there is flood, is flooding, and that flooding that happened last year there's a places that never dry until today, as we talk now, until this raining season come and found them there. So it's a very big challenges. It come, if I will tell you, it come in the area. I don't know if someone may know Chambel. The area by Chambel on the cross line of the road that come from Chambel to Rumbek. That's the only line that making surviving to people of Lagos State. Otherwise, in the Lagos State this side, out of the road, if you are in this side of the road, you will be affected. You have to move to the next side of the road, because only road is the one that protected people on Lagos State. But coming down here, because the water always, when they come back, when they come down through that area, because in both sides, including the area called Williams, is a highland attitude to come to central Equatoria. So it brought to Lagos State. So it's like emerging down like this. So actually the starting of the plot is the plotting. It is started within between Lagos State and Unity State. Goes up to the north. I don't know in the eyes up to Rukoni and with including Pariang and Mayom, because up there's a mountain that come from Nuba Mountains. I don't know in that area it is still affected or not, but within South Sudan, within Unity State South until the central north is always affected by flooding. That's something obvious, and that's our fear until now. Whoever survives will just survive because there's no place to move. Unless if people just decided to go and invade someone state in this during that people are still in muggling with a peace that is not even functioning well. Unless if someone say, okay, enough is enough, let me go and die by invading someone area and then causing war, that you can just go and fall yourself into a territory onto that. That's the only thing that I could put there. Otherwise, the deaths seen last year until today will never stop.
Thank you so much, Maborkong. We have with us Dr. Okay.
Come to Jongole. It's the same effect. It comes from Eastern Equatoria, including Central Equatoria. It comes down when it comes to Jongole, especially in Bor. That area is always affected, no matter what. And when you go to Akoba will be a little bit higher, a little bit, because it's like a side of Vesuvia. That's the only way that I could see. And the life of the people, only Akobo could be the better place to live. Otherwise, the rest going up to Malakal. I don't talk about people of Pangak area. Always they will be in the flooding like people of Unity State, especially particular in Paija. And come there, and even last year, I even get a report that Maban, which is in high altitude, is in the flooding area. So that what is else? So it's just forget it. It's life will be matter to God hand. Sincerely.
Or South Sudanese have to come with solution, which I want to hear your views on what will be the solution later on. Before we close our show, I need to hear your view. What will be the solutions? Otherwise, I have my own. William, as you hear that, like the behavior of the flooding for these numbers of years, it's keep happening, right? And people at some time they move to highland. Sometimes they can go to the neighbor's state, which cause problem, especially when we move down toward Equatoria. Okay, so now what will be your recommendation? Because we need to tell our people, hey, the flood is coming, please prepare yourself. You don't want your livestock to die. Start moving out of the area, because we know the behavior of the flooding keep happening. What will be your recommendation? Which direction they have to go? I know Dr. Dalargin is here, and I hope he was listening to us and watching us, and he have a lot of good thing to tell us. But I will come to you, Dr. Dalargin, in a minute. William.
Yeah, to answer your question, where should people go? Yes, usually if it is running away, people can run away when something unusual happen. إذا صار في مشكلة غير طبيعية لازم ناس يرحلوا للمكان آمن. لكن إذا نحن بنتكلم في النقل من المكان إلى المكان اللي يسكنوا فوقه، إجابة مني أنا بكون لا. ما ممكن إن الناس يفكروا إن يرحلوا من مكان إلى مكان. أول شيء أنا ده نتذكر شيء. I want to mention something here. وقت السودان كان لزم واحد، الشمالين ياو كانوا مسؤولين في السودان كلهم. فهلا أنت قلت قبل شوية إن في سدود موجودة، إن في بدا جبل لولي وفي بدا دويم وفي بدا نيل وين تاني في سينارو وين ما بعرف. فالشمالين عملوا عليهم، لكن في abuse للباور أو neglect، إني ما حيتموا بالجنوب السودان. إذا صار في فيضانات وإذا في هروب إذا صار في زلزالات ما كان بهمهم. لكن هنا بنتكلم اليوم كدولة مستغلة من 2011. في الاتفاقية بدا مشاكس في بندا اللي هو بروتوكول بيتكلم عن تقسيم الثروة. معنى في تقسيم الثروة من مفترض إذا إن مثلا السلبكير وكون بتاعهم إذا كانوا جاهدين مسؤولين they are responsible كان يقعدوا تايد يقسموا الثروة بين جنوب السودان والشمال. وأنا برأيي كان جنوب السودان كان يطالب بالأكثر، لأنه هنالك لا يوجد بنية تحتية في جنوب السودان، وده همال من الأخوان في شمال السودان. فعشان أنا جنوب نبلش نبني من الصفر، أنت لازم تحطين القروش أكتر عشان أنا أقدر إن مثلا إن شيء أنت ما حملته في وقت كنت مسؤول أنا أقدر أقل إن مثلا نمشي نفسي. لكن ما لقينا أي كلام في تقسيم الثروة، فده راح خلاص. هلا فيضانات مثل ما أنت فضلت بيل مش أول مرة، بيجي في كل السنة. الحلول بتاعهم مو جينا مثلا نفكر إن نازبور بمشي وين. ما دام الكلام ده is a man-made disasters زي ما أنا ذكرت قبل، ولازم الحل يجي من البشر نفسه. إذا كان السدود الموجودة في مصر وفي شمال السودان هم يوم مسببين الفيضانات، الحل لازم نفتش الحل عشان نحل الكلام ده. إذا كان جنوب السودان داري يحمل للسدود عشان يقدر يحل المشكلة. في شيء أنا دايما نتذكره كمان اللي هو learning curves. When we come across the situation we have to learn. عندنا أخوانا هون دول لارجين ولا الجرماية ولا المبور، يمكن يوم داك ذكروا هنا كانوا في العنانية، هما they learn how to live. انت شفتها في لما نيجي هيريكان في امريكا بيجي بالدمر، او في اليابان، لكن الناس بيعملوا شنو؟ بيحاربوا الطبيعي بتاع الكوارث ده شنو؟ وبيفتشوا لحلول. حتى الزلزالات في اليابان لما يجي الزلزال البناية ما بتقع. This is learning curve I want to mention. إذا فيضانات بيجينا في جنوب السودان ما نجري منهم، لازم إن نشوف طرق إن كيف نتحمل معه ونعيش زار من خلال الكلام ده. فإن الناس يمشي مكان بدون حلول ده نفسه هو ضعف بتاع الحكومة الموجود عندنا. فده الكلام أنا ده نقوله. Thank you.
Wow, that is very strong right there, because you know what? Every time we experience something and we just sit, like, let us look at it. North America, when they came here, there is these snow, cold storms, and things like that. So they managed to build houses, to build roads that really have to be adorable to match the weather that they are. احنا في جنوب السودان يعني اهو فيضانات بجي يا دوب بس we just build small dikes حاجه كده بسيط كده to protect me for this season. We never think of what to do for the years to come. That is very valid point there, William, and I hope you guys have to come with good solutions, right? Even though, yes, there is other part, I don't blame South Sudan for certain things, because since 19 47 or 55, we have disagreement, war, anyanya, all these things, right? We were just at war at all time. We never think that, you know what, we need to sit down and fix our country. Okay, but yes, always there is a solution. We're supposed to leave alone now tribalism, because when the flood come, it doesn't discriminate, right? It will come to all our areas and we got all flood. Okay, we're supposed to gang against all these human behavior along the Nile that cause us problems, right? And I hope you guys will have a solution. Dr. Dolarian, you came half time, but we will let you play too, no problem. Okay. So, you know, we were talking about the flood keep happening. You see the title down there, right? And the flood is keep happening every year in South, every year and then in South Sudan. But it's become a repetitive that no one is trying to think about it. Yeah, just we do small dice and things. But man, let me give you a little bit extra time here. What do you think is the cause of these floods? And for sure you will disagree and agree with those who talked before you. It's all a learning curve here. Let us learn all together, right? Like I from Jeremiah today, I like it just corrected my information. I'm so old, guys. I don't want to say my age, but somebody like Mabor Wolkong, he's younger than me by numbers of years. But I learned today from Jeremiah that the Nile, it didn't come from Lake Victoria. It's coming from a totally different lake. What is it? Lake Albert, something like that.
Yeah, I just want to, you know, there was I am not going to talk, but there was a competition between explorers. That is the Western. I think Samuel Baker was the one who went and said, "Oh, I found the source of the Nile," and then he named it Lake Albert. And then the other one said, "Oh no, I found it there, and then that is where and then they name it Lake Victoria." That is the word. But that was given by the Samuel Baker. Yeah.
But
sorry
actually,
about that.
the Nile is connected partially to Lake Albert. I can share with you the map that I have with here. So What are the causes of the flood?
Yeah.
And
Thank you.
what are the problems that we got from it? Okay, in terms of diseases and things like that, and how can we survive it? And our people, as they are when the flood is coming, where do they supposed to move? 3 questions, man. I want you to answer them in 1 word. No.
Okay. Yeah. Basically, you know, I think I can answer them quickly. You know, I want to greet you guys. William, Wall is here, and Jeremiah and Upel. For those audience who are listening on the line, I am Dolarjin, the leader of the UPSS Union Party of South Sudan. You know, as many of you know, the cause of a flood is usually a natural disaster, usually. And these can be explained, a natural disaster can be explained by what now the whole world now is paying attention to, what we call a climate change. I know it's very, very new for our people at home there. When people talk about climate change, they don't understand it. Well, this is a proven phenomena where most actually people have just discovered that it is happening. And what is happening with the climate change is that the weather and the way how water and the soil interact, it actually becoming different than the way before. So we have a river, and what is happening with the water in the river is that inside deep, you go deep, there is going to be increase in the heat in the water. So when the heat actually increase, the water actually flood out. And that can also cause maybe a lot of rain coming. So during the rainy season, there will be water coming from down, and there's a water coming from up, and then the water increase. If the land is not prepared, like if people are not prepared, so the water
to get you correctly, so the heat that coming beneath the water, it heats up the water, so it make the water particles expand and then cause flood.
Yes, right.
Okay.
And that's what is happening with what they're calling climate change, is that the heat is increasing as we celebrate our birthday, or maybe the years increasing. So that's what is the scientists actually discover that. And it could be the cause, for me, it could be the cause of the water flooding in our country. The other cause is what William is talking about, a man-made thing. So a man-made, we all know what is happening in Ethiopia. And a man-made will be the dam for me, because this thing actually recently, it has been repetitive recently. There is a dam that was constructed in Ethiopia, and that dam is going to get the water from the Nile. I don't know whether the government of South Sudan was consulted, and whether there are some people who have knowledge about what it can cost. But in my understanding is that if a huge dam like that is actually constructed, and directly the water is drawn from the Nile, is that the flow of water will get confused. So as they come, instead of going through, and then they come to the dam, because the dam is going to take years for it to be filled. So when they get into the dam, so they can go out. So if there are no arrangement to actually to make this water go back or drain back to the Nile, it can cause flood. And that's why even it can also cause dry to other places. And that's why the Egyptians are worried about this. And you guys, if you follow discussion right now, there is a tension between the Egypt and the Ethiopia because of this type of planning of the water. So that could be, I think that could be the cause of particular the water that is flooding in Upper Nile. Yeah. So those are the two causes that I think may actually may be the case. Okay. And last year it was really very terrible in Bor, in Western Upper Nile, in part of Upper Nile in Jonglei State. So it was really a disaster. There was a lot of human loss to it. People die, and then many of the animal were left dead. All the crop and property of the people actually were destroyed by the flood. So it was a real disaster. And apart from that, there was diseases, because flood usually come with diseases, because the worm and germ that it will come even if the water go down, is still the people can suffer out of the effect that it will cause. So is a huge problem, and to address it, I think when you have a government, it's easy to address it. But if you have a government that don't care for people, it's going to be a big challenge. One of the way you can address this is particularly that we have people are doing it by themselves, is to move, because this is not the first time that we see flood. Flood can happen, but this one is really very, very serious one. So when flood happen, for instance, like in Western Upper Nile, when the flood happen, so people will move from the West Bank, and then maybe they go to the East Bank and become maybe better there. Like people will move, or maybe other people will move to island within the water. There are some island that people will go, like actually was shown in Western Upper Nile. I think Panyinjar was affected. So they all survive in the island. So there are some specific island that water will not go there, but maybe circulated by the water, and people still live there until the water go down. Some people will move and go toward southern Kordofan, and then stay there until the water goes. So they have been actually living in that way, and there was no problem in the history. But in Jonglei is when we recently see problem, but usually there is no problem when the natural disaster come. So people are affected, they can move to those islands, like mostly in Equatoria is a place of mountain. So there are no even if the flood come, some of those mountains will the flood will not be flooded. So that's why most of the people from Jonglei want to go with their animal to Equatoria. They move there to central Equatoria and eastern Equatoria. That was one of the things that addressed the problem last year. The problem was addressed like that. But now I think this is not enough, because it's causing the problem. I think if we have to address this, since it's coming this year, and we don't want our people to actually to die from it, we want to save them. I believe we have enough land in South Sudan. We have enough land, and we have resources that can really accommodate people when they have problem like this. So what the government could do now is,
and that will take us to the solution, right? Why don't you hold it right there, because you're going to tell it to us as a solution.
Okay.
Right.
All right. Thank you.
So hold it right there. We have with us Guy Lam, and I know we are in social media, but Guy Lam, he has also his show that he run on Tuesday and Thursday, and pretty much is non-political. It's all social. I think he do his show like he is like a counselor, something like that. But at the same time, also he is related to me. He is a son of my sister, so I'm his uncle. So welcome, Guy Lam, to the show, and we are talking about the flood of the Nile River every year here and then in South Sudan, and it's caused a lot of damages, animals, diseases, and people lose their houses and things like that, and they are moving to certain area. But it's good that Even Dr. Dwallarjin was saying people from Panyajar, I think they move maybe to the highland, but never go to the Lake State, so accusing them of land grabbing or going to Warap or something like that. The same to the area, except maybe it's happened last year when people of Jonglei, of Bor, moved to Mangala. And of course, there become a lot of tension. People were thinking that is the people coming as the previous people that came and never moved back. So it's become a concern. But we are not talking about the political things, but we are talking about the flood itself. But let me take one thing out. The dam that is built in Ethiopia, it has nothing to do with the floods that was happening numbers of years back in South Sudan. And I think even though if it is filled up, there is a lot of rivers there that maybe will hold the water from us. There will be no any connectivity that I see from the water that coming from lake. What is that lake called in Ethiopia? Lake. Oops, where did I go? It's called Lake. What is the name for the lake?
Lake Tana or what?
Lake Tana. Lake Tana, I think. Yeah, Lake Tana. So there is no connection because Lake Tana is going to Blue Nile. And of course, the main concern with that dam is going to hold water that flowing down to Sudan, which can make the Blue Nile really could dry up. And we know in Sudan, I think they have two dams along the Blue Nile. They have Reseris and they have Sinar Dam. So also they were building it to hold some water for themselves at that time to use it for irrigation and all these kind of things. Because the area that has the dams is really boom agriculture in Sudan. And we have in the White Nile, we have two dams. One is Jebel Olia Dam, and one is Duim Bahr al Abyad. There is a dam there. And then in Marawi, up north on the Nile, there is also a dam there. And also the Sadd al Ali Dam of Egypt, which is there. And we have also Uganda. They have a dam also to regulate, but maybe they did it to generate electricity for them and things like that. So they have it there. They have a dam also there. But when a lot of water keep coming from the rainforest, which is raining through the year, so also they hold some water to store it for their own electricity or irrigation, something like that. The problem has become us in South Sudan. When the rain come, could be because of the climate change, right? Of course, the Arctic, it's melting, right? And of course, the heat will play its role, is make vapors, and then vapor become rain, and rain now, rain on the dry land, and then our dry land will be submerged with water because of this. Now, we have a bad behavior. In South Sudan, we know that we live in South Sudan, there is animals, there is water. So, as we need to stay in a dry land, we're supposed to know how to deal with water, but we never know how to deal with water. Even in the city of Juba, just to open channels for the water to flow to the rivers, you will find some of the channels are blocked with plastic bag, garbage, and things like that. So water going nowhere. You see, we create our own garbage dams. Okay, so the water is not going anywhere at all. So we build roads, and then as we build roads, we don't make passage, bridges, so the water also can go. We want to block everything. It's just only us that living there. No, there is water. Water, they need a path to go. Okay, animals, they need a path to go. Otherwise, we build road, it's get wiped out so quick like that. So that is just to give you an idea, but we will come to the solution. Guy Lam, what do you think that when flood happen, what are the reasons of the flood? And then how can we avoid really living in a swamp by going to high areas without the neighbor's state telling us you are coming here to grab our land? And before we go to the last question, what is your take on those two that I mentioned? Like the cost, what is the cause of the floods, and how, what will be the best way for our people moving to highland? Let me unmute you. Okay, go ahead.
All right. Yes, I'm very delighted to be here, to be at the show today. I'd like to greet all the audience and the viewers, people that are in the studio. And it's really a great topic, uncle and my father at the same time. I'm very happy to be part of this show today. The question that you have brought up, it's really important. And but the question that I want to ask, let's look back in 1960, 1950, 1970, 1980. Do we have the same? Did we have the same problem, or is just something become worse now? You know, so zaman ta Nimeri, zaman bita, Sadiq Al Mahdi and all this. Are we facing the same problem that we're facing right now, or become worse? So we can check 30 years ago, what are we facing and how do we fix it? The climate change is a big role, like my brother Dual Lorgan was talking about early, and the other brothers here. The climate change is a big issue, and lack of educations also has infected a lot of us. South Sudan is a blessed country surrounded with water, but the things here, we don't have people that are well educated to deal with water or to deal with the issue like that. I remember one of our brother earlier mentioned, like in Japan, they have earthquake, and also they know how to deal with it. The building Mabiga, Amarat Mabigao, Lanu, because they're well equipped and they're well ready for that. Like in as South Sudan, it's hard for us to start like this one to solve it. We're not well educated to deal with such problem. We are not prepared even to fix it. And we have a lot of people that متعلمين اللي بقدر يساعدونا في such climate change. We don't have it. So to me, it's really a big issue. And then our neighbor country, how did they deal with us? How did they deal with such an issue? For instance, like Uganda, and we have Bordo Zema, you mentioned early in Ethiopia. When they build the dam, but for us, we are running away or moving to different land. It is not an issue. It's not a solution. Solutions for us is how can we deal with that? How can we find solution? How can we bring expert? Like you mentioned earlier, Uncle Pearl, in South America, they have issues like that, but they did not move away, but they find solution. They find ways to deal with disaster when things like that happen. In California, at the same thing. في أراضي بيجي فوقه النار will destroy the entire city or some of the cities, but they still live there. They still live there and they still deal with the heat. The weather become hot and بيحرق حاجات كل surrounded هناك. So for us, moving away or running away, it is not a solution. How can we bring experts that can help us to help us with this solution, with this problem that we are facing in especially Upper Nile, And another thing that I noticed too, even the River Nile that we have, it is not deep you know يعني اقل مويه ولا اقل مطر يجي هيكون شنو بيزيدوا زياده and it will be overflow. You know, we're dealing with water, we're dealing with rain at the same time, and we don't have a system. It's not that we did not study it very well. You know, Lukan Arabs, if they did something about it, now we will not have issues. The government in Khartoum, the 70s, 60s, the 80s, if they have find solution, even though the Shamalin, they're well educated and they have expert people, but they fail to, solve the problem of Upper Nile, you know. And at that time, if they did or they find solution for Mashakal bit Upper Nile, now we will never have any problem. We will, in fact, we will even make things much better now because they already found the problem before and they already fixed it. But the problem, they ignore the problem of Upper Niles, you know. And that's a little thing that I want to mention. And when we come to solution, I will mention my solution later on. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I think now I think we need to go to the solution because all of you want to say the solution. You're kind of itchy, man. Open the solution quickly. Let us throw it out there, right? So now, what are you guys think will be the solution? Let me tell you. You may not say it all, but Mabur can say two solutions. William can say two, Jeremiah can say two, God can say two, Dolarjin can say two, right? And I think maybe we will cover the whole thing. So if you have one solution, two solution, okay, we will pass it to the next person. And then I hope all of you should mention the solution that I have in mind. I'm not telling you read my mind because it will be hard, but I think we can agree. We can agree on certain things. It's very obvious. We can agree on certain things. You mentioned that running away is not the solution. I do agree with you. We need to deal with it. We need to deal with the water. We live in South Sudan. The water lives in South Sudan with us, right? They are not going nowhere as long they flow, but the rain will bring them back, and behavior of our neighbors will keep blocking them for us. So we will be really swamped with water, right? We are blessed, as you say, God. We are blessed with all this water, but we need to know how to deal with it. And really, God, let me tell you, we don't need an expert, but we just want to put the solution and work on it. Instead of we work on fighting ourselves and chairs and things like that. I'm not saying chairs because our brother Dolarin, he had a party, and of course he will be struggling sooner or later with the people in Juba to has a seat somewhere there. But anyway, I'm not saying that fighting to have a government position, that is not really shouldn't be the thing. We need to develop the country. We have a lot of things to live on. So without further ado, please mention all the things that I think that could be a solution. It could be an agreement, could be whatever. I'm not going to say it, but Mabur, you have the first honor to say, what are your solutions for the issue of the flood in South Sudan?
I was just saying, you want me to take all my solution to be stolen by people and reverse it again. I'm just joking. Anyways,
now you have the first
a lot
floor.
of solution. Yes, thank you. A lot of solution. First of all, in this condition that we are in, Sudan, Egypt, Uganda, and South Sudan should come together to minimize this situation before we go to other solution. Because the other solution that I should put into a table, I know the situation that we are in, even the country that I'm sitting in now, in this table here, involved in it. If people doesn't know about it, I will tell you why. This country called Canada support canal that should be flowing to Egypt. If people does not know, Canada supporting canal, and they invest on that, I able get that ground root in it because I'm doing a lot of researches myself. So it's a part of the game. We, the South Sudanese, if we convene those countries to open their own dams and let the water flow, that can minimize the situation, then we, the South Sudanese, should come to solution. Our solution should not come like today, but it's a plan ahead. There's a lot of rivers within the country that need to be expanded. And we can even do a lot of recreation in those areas. Let's say, example, in Jonglei, let's say in Wad area, there's the places that should be built a little dams that can store water. The people of Wad should not go to Akoba or going to Nasser. That will feed them with the resources, and can even those water who try to go out from the area of Ayut and Pangak should even eliminate them. They can go to that resources place. The same to the area of Kwangala area. They should do a lot of places so that water that come from the mountain should flow into that dam that done in that area. That's the one solution there. Go to Unity State between us and Lagos State and Warab. They should there's a swamp area that they should dig it out to make it as a dam that can flow the whole water there. So which means it can limit the water that can flow into the area that people are living in. That's my solution that I should see myself. And that's where I blame the government to do. And thank you. I will stop from there.
Well, I hope the government of South Sudan will get a chance to hear your view and try to work on the thing that you said. Let me come to you, young man, Guy Lam. Let me double you here and okay, I shouldn't tell you let me double you here so you can get drunk quick. I'm your uncle. I shouldn't tell you that. But let me come back to you. What are your solutions? Go ahead. Unmute yourself. Unmute yourself.
Okay, now it works. Okay, the solution, my people, is like my brother mentioned earlier, building a dam. Now we have 10 states in South Sudan. We need to build at least 1 or 2 in the 10 states that we have. We need to build a dam. Another thing that we need to do, it's the river Nile. You know, we need to نعمل كمان طرق زيادة. So the Nile River is supposed to be for كل state. We spend it to all 10 states. الاتجاهات اللي ما فوق موية, then they will get water. You know.
يعني
so if we spend
أنهر صناعية.
Yes.
أنهر صناعية. Yeah.
Exactly.
Like
yes.
Artificial rivers. Yeah.
If we do that, that will be a solution. And برضو في قروش بتاع oil, we need to have at least 1 or 2% from the oil revenue that will go toward the problem of disaster that we have in South Sudan. Regardless of what, we have to have a budget for it. You know, that whenever a disaster budget, just like in America and Canada, they always fund that to deal with such problem in Minigi. So South Sudan will need to have at least 1 to 2% from the royal oil revenue to help us fix those problems again in South Sudan. I think that will be helpful for us.
And I think that is well said there, that the government of Sudan should allocate certain money for the natural disasters, to put it aside, regardless also the dams, the behavior of building dams along the White Nile and the Nile. Also, it's a man-made. We should really ask those countries to help us out. So when there is, but you know what, somebody, I think I saw it there, maybe I don't know, maybe I got it wrong, but he was saying as long there is UN that helping people, I think maybe the government of South Sudan will not put in a solution, because there is a lot of NGOs and things like that. They all, every time they chip in and help and things like that. So the government has become reluctant. But well said, the government should allocate certain money and put it aside for all these natural disasters. Okay, thank you there, but hang on tight, because I will go again later on 1 minute to say your final thought. Unless if you have something to go and do, you're a busy man or getting late there, I don't know. But anyway, let me go to Jeremiah. What are the solutions, Jeremiah? Because I hold you earlier not to say any solution till I come back to you.
Thank you, Brother Paul. Yeah, the first speakers, they mentioned most of the points, and just we shall be just trying to contribute a little bit. Yeah, the first thing is government should stop corruption and money for development, because when there is development, there will be a flood warning system, and evacuation of the suspected areas will be organized, and it will save people property and protect them from diseases. So, of course, I believe without money, nothing will work. Then again, I am thinking South Sudan should review our Nile Basin agreement with the rest of the countries. An issue of flood in River Nile should be discussed at regional level or international level, because it had been now since God created the whole world, there is a flood, regardless of what we call climate change. So flood is expected in this area of South Sudan. It is there. So this issue need to be regionalized and to be something at the international level. This is this is the solution, or the rest of the countries, they will be able to contribute, make positive contribution to the problem affecting South Sudan every now and then. And I would like also to say, or it is a question, let me put it a question. What was the motive of Canal Jungule construction? And if it continue, or if that project is going to start, what is the effect of construction of Canal Jungule? Can it help to reduce flood in South Sudan, or it make it worse? Or it can create dry season, or the rivers can dry up in South Sudan, because if Canal Jungule is to continue. And I would like to say, at this juncture, where there is immediate need for the affected population, government of South Sudan
should convene non-governmental organizations to support the citizens affected by the flood. This is one. This is very important to me because it is better to find a way to support people and then they will continue with their livelihood. Now, for more information regarding the flood, Paul, you said where did the flood come from Bibor? Ana kuna Bibor to Isabota Manin. Really, ana benishu Bibor kano Sara obeyed my bar. But to my surprise, P bar fogo. I mean pieces on ogada dry. Lakini pieces on obiji rainy season. Moya gajamla deep. They have had a guy that you flooding before. In some areas, Tepalga Samak Sara, a big dry season. So, how did they do connection Mariba night somewhere? And Gaba, that was to be before. This is what I got. Now, when you come to Upper Nile, Benijibaluba will Manati Tashulu. Minma near the jungle in Tainak that at the end of the Unity State. Female more Bamshabara Fogo, Bakush, Tijata Jubaluba. Ujubaluba Taban is a high ground. More Mabamshinak, the male Barjat Jajinu. Uminak Beshuk the one, Bakush Benemalakal or Tijabata Benemalakal orang and by bug enough no Nile Umaye Lifu goes kid. So it shall go Menatic Nasa Bisho Marchilu Guardian ga plot Mirgaba Nabanda Gaba low. So Talamin Nile Nile Pitijabita Northern Shuluk or your kush the Yamshi Benil Tani Pinuzel another Northern Shuluk. So this is the what I want to say, and back to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jeremiah. When the first time when I heard about Jonglei or Jonglei channel or canal, there was people in South Sudan, they were not happy. And but I can double check what was said is the Egyptian government, they try to make a man-made river, but the man-made river that they're trying to say is to go up to Pangak area and connect it to the Nile. Like it's go to Pangak area and then connect it to the Nile at close to Malakal. So what was the reason they say behind it is to expedite the flow of the water that are in the Lake Shambe area, so they can go quickly, right? And instead of they go in like through the Nile and curve and then until they reach to Malacca. No, they want to make a quick path for them. So to the normal Nile flow and also put another extension to it so it can flow quickly to Egypt. So at least drain a lot of water out from the Shambe and Pangak area and those kind of things. That is why it was refused, it was rejected, because also people there, the Lake Shambe is providing them with a lot of fish and things like that. So if it has become very low, as we know, Guy was saying also, our Nile and rivers are very shallow, right? So for that reason, they're going to dry up and things like that. So that is why it was opposed. But if it was made like to like a man-made river to to take water to those who are out there, like in Wad area or Akobo area, if there is no rivers there, right? So that will help, will take water to them, right? And also will funnel down the water that are collected on the swamp area, and in a hot season they will just dry. Okay, so if they got funnel into that and then flow to the Nile, and then somebody there will store them and use them, like what Egypt did at the end when they fill up their dam. I think they become okay with that. Even they came in 2012 or 2011. They were trying to clear all the wheat that were on Chambe area, right? So at least it will restore more water. And instead of the weed, you know, the weed it has its own way too. So it's pushing the water out. But if that weed is taken out, so the whole Lake Chambe will fill up with pure water. So also that was a project Egypt was working on it, to clear the weed and to clear the blue lettuce from the Nile. So at least so a lot of water can be stored there. Anyway, that is what I was just about to say about the Canal Jonglei that you mentioned earlier. I think the reason for it didn't resonate with the majority of South Sudanese, and they rejected it. And you see the Bakr wheel that was working there, it was destroyed and didn't operate. But now I think with the issue that is happening now, we need 10,000 Bakr wheels to help us to dig that ground and make some solutions. So now, before I start opening my mouth and say some solution, let me come to you, Mr. Dolarjin.
Yes.
What do you have as solution? And then after you, William will come.
Okay. Yeah, I have a couple solution, because when we address the problem, first we wanted to identify the problem. For me, the cause of this flooding that has just come recently is directly caused by climate change. And that's what we are talking about, global warming. So if that is the case, then we need to do with something, because I say this one because, the South Sudanese right now, they are greedy of money, looking for money. And you have heard they have increased the production of the oil from low to higher, the maximum they can. I think is now about 3,000 barrel per day. That is a lot. So that means the oil company are busy. They are exploiting the land, and they don't know that they are actually increasing the climate change. So they are making that land to be warm. So and that kind of warm is causing heat to actually to expand the water. That is another thing that I think. So to actually to make a solution for this, we have to stop increasing the rate of production of the oil. It must go down, because we can consider our life now, how many lives is affected. Even the politicians are enjoying that money. The people are dying. Is causing a lot. And suppose the oil, the production of oil go to the way it was produced in the early year, maybe the cost of climate will not be high. That is another thing. The second one is, the Nile, nobody care about it right now. So it has been years and years, they don't clean it. So if the river go like that, I guess if we have a government, we need to clean, or a company to come and clean the blockage inside the river, so that the water can just pass normally the way they pass. So they don't find their own way to pass. This is another simple problem, actually solution that can be done quickly, and then it will solve the problem. Because if the water is clean, the river actually is clean, then the water they will go wherever they will go without any problem. One person said we construct our own dam. I agree about that because there are a lot of advantage we can gain from there. The other thing we might look at is construction of drainage. You know, even simple rain, when it rains and the water just find themselves to go to the river by themselves, it can be a problem. But if the people actually know this water coming from mountain and that water coming from there, and they make a drainage system where there are passes that water can usually pass and go to where it go, then we will not have any problem. We will not have any flood. So that is what I will say for now is a solution. But I actually have, last year we discussed, I think this topic was another show, and I suggested that the whole of Upper Nile, and I know some of you are from Upper Nile, you will not be happy about this. So I consider the whole of Upper Nile to be an agricultural area. Okay, so I suggest all these people that are affected, the government has to make a program and move them to Equatoria. I have identified some land like Jabelado area.
Hold on. Where are you from? Where are you from?
What do you mean? Like from Upper Nile?
Because you say majority of you in this show look like from Upper Nile, and what I'm going to say, you're not going to be happy about it. You see, me, I don't have any problem with what you say. Like you see, the area of Jabal Buma, I was surprised that area. I like the mountains there. There is mountains, there is green, right? It's beautiful naturally. You know, I'm thinking if one day we have a peace and they allow us to go anywhere, I will build myself a house there. I look at it, is looked like very good. Those of you who were in SPLA, I think you see that area. I love it. Okay, I don't know. I didn't see the Equatorian, but why you want us to go to Equatoria? That is where we're going to be accused of the land grabbing. We don't go anywhere. Find us a solution wherever we are. That's why I ask you, where are you from? Because either you are from Unity State or you are from Upper Nile with us. So, so where are you going to go? Why you want us to take us to?
Yeah, Pell, one thing that this program that I'm suggesting could solve is going to solve a lot of problems, not only the flooding. It will also solve the issue of tribalism. Because you see, if we make some of these places to be agriculture, so we will plan a huge food for the whole country. So there will be no hunger, no famine in South Sudan. That will be solved by moving these people and put them. There are some no man land right now in Equatoria that I know of. Most of those mountains, there are no people living there. So if the government, those are government places, government of South Sudan, since we got it our independent, anywhere that there is no tribe is a government place. So if something like this happen, emergency, people can move there. And I know if they move there for 2 years with their animal, they will settle. Is nice and is a good place that will never have flood. Then now the government, when this water go down, it can use those area like Jongle and part of Upper Nile, like right now in those of Pangak, we can actually produce crop, maize, and anything, and then use it for our own food to feed the people, the population, or maybe export it to other African countries. So you see,
well, I do agree with you if that was an idea that we should move to higher elevated area and we make all these swamp areas. It could be in Equatoria, it could be in Upper Nile, it could be in Bahr Ghazal. All these swamp area, I do agree with you. If we change them to be agriculture places for fish and all kind of crops that can grow in that area. But what I'm just trying to correct here, I will not be ignorant and say that in South Sudan there is a land which is no man land. You know what? Because when we divide the payams and the boomers and things like that, you are allocated a certain land that it can fit you, can fit other tribe, but it still is called your land, even though you are not living in it. Okay, but it still is considered as your land because we sometimes we live the life of nomads and things like that. We go by the river when dry season, and we go outside when the river flood. So all those areas, they call them our land, right? Including the land that we never step a foot there, is grow to bush and all these things, but they still call our land, right? It's part of you. If we go to the to whatever that thing called, misaha, this will be a land for you, even though you're not using it. So no land is no man land, because that can cause us problems. Let us accept that we forget about the tribalism. I do agree with you with that, but I have a different form of it. But we can go and live with other people in high elevated area, and let us make the swamp areas as agricultural land. I do agree with you on that one, but I think I disagree with you when you say there is no man land up there. No. You will get some trouble. But anyway,
Yeah,
finish
well,
your point. Go ahead.
I think you read the Constitution of South Sudan. The Constitution, they call actually the one that was dropped by Honorable John Luke. Okay, so there are these issues that were the tribe that has settled in some land, and the land that they claim to be their land, but people been there. There are no people, like what you say. So the Constitution of South Sudan clearly stated and has actually pointed out some of the things that we may not disagree. So it say if the land is never settled by a tribe, then the land, since we got our independence, it become a property of the government of South Sudan.
Yeah.
But if the tribe are already there, then that is their land. So that is what I'm saying. There are some land, the bushes. It belongs to government of South Sudan right now, if at all we have a government. But if we have a tribal government, like tribal militia, yeah, we can agree. Okay, the tribe, they can own their stuff, because if they have their own militia, it's stronger than the government. So that one can happen. But if we talking about the real government, any bush, any mountain, any places that is a tribe has never stepped there, but they just think that because it is in their location, then is there. No, that is a government land. That is what I'm talking about. And it's okay, government can decide to solve a problem that affected the people by moving people there and using another land for any other project. The government can do that very easy. If at all there are thinkers who can really wanted to help people during emergency. So I think we agree that, and but more important thing is that what we need to concern is the global warming, climate change, because what is causing this thing is a climate change, and a climate change for our country, I think it is based on the oil, because the oil is not regulated now. So the oil, they don't know that they are overheating the place. They don't know that, and they don't care. So that's why you hear, like, I think last year, or maybe last year, but when Honorable Ezekiel was a minister in the petroleum, he was saying that they have increased the production to a higher level. And that will mean burning a lot of things, actually overusing the land. And that one will cause overheat of the place. That could cause all those actually other things that are or the thing that you are seeing. But people may not know because they are not caring. So what I would say, I think that production has to go back to when it was started in 2000 and 2011. They have to go back to the percentage that they were producing. Okay, because if we are greedy like that, we will cause problems that will affect so many of poor people there. The rich, well, the politician will enjoy that money, but most of our people, they are going to die. So I think something has to be done about the production of the oil. I don't know what is happening on the source of Equatoria, Lake Victoria, because the Nile is coming from Lake Victoria. If the Ugandese are actually misusing the water, that can also cause a problem. Because if the water heat, and we don't know what is Ethiopian already has started there. So what is happening now? Everybody is trying
we
to.
learned today. We learned today is Lake Albert, not Victoria.
No. That's who say that? No.
Look at it on the map.
That I did it in my high school, and
all of us.
Not,
all of us.
No. That is what I will agree.
No,
That's what I will
look.
agree.
I just got convinced because I saw it on the map.
White Nile.
Okay.
It come from Lake Victoria. Blue Nile, Lake Tana. This is in high school in Africa.
Yeah. So I don't want to argue with you because I just saw it here. Before I give William a chance, if you finish there, I just gonna show you the map quickly because William will come and also give us his input. Let me just share with you the map here so you can say what is there. Okay, let me share it just quickly, and Dolarjin will go do his own research too. Okay, you can see this map, right?
Oh, yeah.
Can you see it? Okay, this is here. This is Lake Victoria. Okay, and here, this is Lake Albert. So let me expand it so you can see what we are talking about. Look at it. Look at the rivers. That is small rivers that are really connected to Lake Victoria. Okay, very, very tiny. We don't see them. There is another lake there, right? This is Lake Victoria. Look at the lakes for it. Okay, look, it's just come here, it's faded out. It's come here, it's faded out. Like there is no real connection. But look here, this is where the Nile is coming from, Lake Albert. If you look at it, just follow me. Look, it's going like that. Okay, keep coming, right? Just keep coming all together, going as and if you look at it, it's White Nile. White Nile is coming from Lake Albert. Okay, then as we go up north, see White Nile, White Nile, White Nile. Keep coming here. Okay, look, it's go make all these turns. It's keep going as a White Nile. See, it's keep going as a White Nile till it come to South Sudan, right? So that's what we are saying there. That we just learned it today. That is coming from. But you can go and do your own research.
No. Can you go back to Lake Victoria, the one that you showed earlier?
Okay.
Just go back there. Something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go back. Just go back. Yeah. You see this? This is
here is
Lake
Victoria.
That is the Nile right here. Right here.
Where?
Go.
Where?
This one is the Nile. This one here. This is the Nile. This is the White Nile right here.
This one?
Yeah. No. This the little one here. The line here.
This line.
Yes, that is the Nile. That is that is the White Nile. Follow it.
No. That is the demarcation border between Uganda and Kenya. This one. This is the demarcation of Uganda and Kenya.
Can you go like follow it? How it go? It get into South Sudan?
Yeah, it's just here. It's just end up here, right? This is the line here. It's end up here. You see, it's here, right? And the Nile is somewhere here, right? And then go from here to Juba. See?
No, man, don't trust that map. You know, a lot of people are playing. They are
Okay,
playing with
I
you.
didn't trust it.
You know, you
I
can
didn't
even do
trust
your
it
map.
till somebody said it. Till somebody
Yeah,
said it,
yeah,
and I googled it and I saw it. But anyway, all of us we were taught that is from Lake Victoria. But thank you, Jeremiah. You opened our eyes. We're going to be green today. We're going to do research. Me and Dr. Dal Largin. We're going to do our research, and next time we will come and debate you and tell you, Jeremiah, you are wrong. But as today, the map it's for your favor today, Jeremiah. So let us go to William Goldit. Sorry about that. I divert us a little bit. Let us go to William Goldit. William, what are your solutions?
Yeah, thank you, Pal. I will share. I want to. Yeah, thank you, Guy. Guy mentioned in it, the Nile is shallow, and that is true. But what I want to attach to it here, why is it? Why is it? You know, I want to mention something called sentiments. Sentiments. Sentiment is erosive. Erosive. So I think if I talk in the Shilluk term, we have the liquor called atabuba. Atabuba is the wine, and then they give you. Then you have to put the water on it, and then mix it. So you have to wait for 3 minutes عشان ترسب الطبوبة وبعدين تشرب المويه. The same as the Nile. You know, when the Nile is coming with velocity, surra bidal moya is carrying erosive معه. For لمن إني, as I said in the beginning, إني لمن يوصل في السد العالي في الأسوان السرة بدل مويه بقل، ومن مويه يدخل في السد بيكون السرة بتاعهم زيرو. فإني الرواسب ترسب. They began to precipitate in the river bed. Okay, but what do you think if for years, gradually, if we have those things accumulating, and then they cause a river to be shallow, you know? And other things, if you go to the river bank, this roasif, لمن يرسف في ال river banks بكون shallow وبخلي المويه زارة تطلع برا بسهولة لأنه بحر مش عميق. شفت كيف؟ So this is the way I look at it. Other things is a solution to me. Let us look at the relationship. As I said in the beginning, في تهميش من قبل الحكومة بتاع الشمال ما اهتموا بالمواطن الجنوبي أو أرض الجنوبي. يعني يمكن بيجي هنا مثلا انت لو مشيت ملكال مثلا انت بتجيب الشوب الشمالي التجار، يعني اللواري ماشي وجاي، اللواري ماشي وجاي، وبابور ماشي وجاي وما بعرف، فكل شيء بتنقل من الجنوب السودان الى الشمال. والبنى التحدية بكون موجود في الشمال لكن ما موجود في جنوب السودان. والثروة في نفس الوقت بيجيبوا من الجنوب السودان. ده اهمال سياسية معروفة. ولكن لينا حسنة في المحزق، مش سلفا كير ومش رياض مشيار ومش أي شخص الموجود في الحكم. ده قضاها نينا وجدنا فوق إنه في مشاكل موجود موروثة. Okay, so إذا نينا شو بنعمل؟ We have to revise the relationship أو مشاكل اللي كان موجودة. Okay, like if you look at Egypt، أنا في ملكال في ري المصري، وين ما يكون في ري المصري، وين ما يكون في ري المصري، These are the water management stuff. So is there علاقة متبادلة بين الجنوبيين والمصريين، والعلاقة هيدا بتستخدم المصريين فقط؟ فإذا العلاقة إذا بتستخدم طرف واحد، يجب أن لازم يتم إعادة النظر في العلاقة هيدا عشان نبنيه تاني، عشان كله الأطراف كله يكون مستفيدين بالعلاقة الموجود بين شقيقين مثل ما بيقولوا. For this is what I am thinking. We have to review the relationship between us and Egypt and even Northern Sudan in terms of the waters. Another things, في agreement اللي كان موجود، يمكن المصريين دائما برجعوا للمشاكل اتفاقية بتاع النيل اللي هو 1929. هذا ما كان في دول مستقلة في افريقيا كله، ما كان فيه. فعلاقة هذا لازم this water treaty لازم ناس ينظروا عليهم تاني. يعني قول سد بتاع أسوان when did they build it? I think 1960, before I am born. And I don't know any person here who was born that time. So سد إذا قلنا إن مثلا السد بتاع أسوان بنوها 1960، معنى الفيضانات اللي كانت موجود في الجنوب في وقت ده يمكن ده سد يا السبب بتاعهم. So أنا solution بتاعي يمكن ناس الكلام قبلي they mention it, but what I will add here also is you know, when you want to use something, as a guy mentioned, that we don't have a well-trained or well-educated people to deal with the land. You need to know your products, you know, and to know your products. You لازم يكون عندك فلسفة فوق عشان تبيعه. So it's very important that we have to train the people. Mabor mentioned إن لازم يكون فيها دم، يمكن في مناطق كده ومناطق كده. Yes. إذا مثلا ناصر قام عمل الدم بدون مشاورات في مناطق التانية في جنوب السودان، أو بنتي عمل السد بدون consultation أو ملكات، شو فرق بينه وبين العمل مصر بدون مشاورات؟ معنى نفس الطريقة هيضر مع جيرانهم كمان. So لذلك أنا بقول إن مثلا نحن if the government is serious, government can send people to be trained and also to learn how to manage the water, and also to be as a researcher to do the research around the water. So that is very important. And also those group who are trained, and I know many people in Southern Sudan, they are graduate from those fields. So only the government needs to honor them or to value, to acknowledge them and put them into the working field, so they can coordinate. They can build a coordinated effort from 10 states all, and then they can work together. You know. So this is what I can add into that. Another thing is what is it here? The control of the water from Egypt is affecting everybody. I think if there is agreement between the Nile Basin nations, the control should start where the water is starting. So we know how much that person is taking the water there, and how much Gerano Gidamu is taking, and how much Gerano is taking. So now we control the water for the reason that everybody is getting water equally. It's not like when the water is being controlled, when Egypt there in the Oswan Dam has taken as much as it needed, And then he said, no, I don't want it, and the water come and flood the Southern Sudan or wherever, you know. So the control of the water, in my opinion, if there is a governing body for the water management, they should agree that the control or regulation of the water should start where the water is flowing, you know, so the water can flow and equitably everybody can have the water. So this is what I can add into that, Pal. And yeah.
Thank you so much. I think our brother Simon at the control there, or whoever putting this thing, I think is telling us it's time to end the show or something like that. But let us just, we almost come. We should wrap up within, let me say, 20 minutes. We should finish with this, or 10 minutes. But let me put it this way. Simon or whoever sharing this thing, can you please unshare that, unless if it is something important that you're trying to tell us? Can you please unshare that, Simon? Okay, can somebody let Simon know to
If you want to
unshare?
hear it, if something you want to hear it, please, can you play it, and then we can see what is going on in it.
Okay. So yeah, okay, maybe it's just a glitch right there. So what I'm trying to say, I don't know, either try to summarize what you guys was said as a solution, or these are my thoughts. But let me put it together. Like, we know that the flood is keep coming. It's repetitively, and we know it's something happening. We shouldn't be running away from it. But when we don't have a solution, there is no way. We have to run away from it. We have to run away from it, but it's supposed to be like the following year. We shouldn't be waiting for it again. We're supposed to do something. And that is what I was expecting. As happened last year, people run away. Okay, well and good, because if it took you by surprise. But if it is something going to be happening every year, we shouldn't run away from it, and we try to solve it. And simply, you guys mentioned, all of you, that the rivers are very shallow. And for some reason, any huge amount of rain, plus our neighbors blogging their closing down their dams, so we have the accumulation of water, and also the residue of the mud that coming from high elevation, and also will settle at the river banks, and make our rivers very shallow, or at the Nile. Before we come to solve the Nile issue, I think one of the things, as people of Bor, they build long dikes around the river, but is the problem is, the dikes actually is supposed to be made from concrete, and it's supposed to be really dig deep and high. Okay, so to hold the water. Okay, but also, like in the areas of where, like the swamp area, like place like Bor, they're supposed to, the city should have a system of way how the water can be funnel into certain areas, so at least they can flow to the river by just digging channels, like what I was seeing in Malakal. My uncle was doing that every year when there was a peace في إصلاح البيئة. So every year he hired young men to go and dig all these channels, right? To open them. So when the rain come, there is a place for water to go and go to the river, or just stay there as long it can observe the water, and water stay there. So these are the things. I never been in Bor, but these are the things that need to be done, and so it's supposed to be deep, like really, really, really deep. Okay, these are like something that people of Bor can do. Also, there is certain areas that every year, like they go under the water. These are swamp area. supposed to be really left alone, okay? And not just only that, maybe dig them out more to be like a man-made lake or reservoirs, okay? So we know that when the flood comes, all the water will go there, will gather there, and leave the higher places was inside the city of Bor, leave them dry. So instead of going to build in the swamp and then next year you run away from it, so at least leave those small pocket inside the Bor city, leave them alone, but you can just leave them like artificial lake and dig them out more and more. I remember like what Egypt was been doing in the Lake Shambe, trying to clearing the weed that by the Shambe. What we need to do, because all these residue of the mud that keep coming from the water was the high altitude. Sometimes leave with us some islands of sand. So also is another work that is supposed to, we have to have a certain kind of steamer or boats that keep digging this sand out. And this sand, we can utilize it for building the roads, the houses, and all these kind of things. And also go really put them and treat with it the areas that we want to build, like high-rise building and things like that, treated with that sand to make it strong. Like you see, so in Dubai, look, they build a city inside the river just by gathering all these sand together and make these islands and build a city there. So it shouldn't be a issue at all. So we need to deal with water. Let us make water passage so the water can go to the river, but also we should make man-made lakes and man-made rivers that really to funnel all these waters. And when it's come to the dam shouldn't be built anywhere in the Nile, but in the highest places, and supposed to be for the reason, yes, store some water, and not just only that, to generate also electricity for us. So we need to know how to deal with water. So, and as Dalarjin was talking about the climate change and the use of oil and all these kind of things, we pump oil, we burn the oil, even though we are not dealing in a right way with the oil waste. The oil waste, Sudan is because they have what do you call it, a refinery, and there was the leftover of the oil. They make it for paved road and things like that. Sudan now is connected with all season roads, like all the year, because they know how to deal. They have a refinery. They know how to deal with the oil waste. Not just only that, certain oil waste that where we burn, and most of the countries they are burning it. Certain countries they are collecting it together and make it as a propane. Right? That is where the propane coming from, right? So we need to deal with that as well. But no one giving advice. We just want to pump the oil and go sell it raw like that, take the money, put it in our pocket. That is all our concern, right? We're supposed to deal with it with the oil clearly. Or maybe in few years to come now, we see in countries like Norway and where now they are using the hydrogen cars running on hydrogen, and they make companies really that taking the water and heat it up and let the oxygen go into the air, and they collected that hydrogen, they store it in big tanks, and they use it as a because the water is H2O. Two oxygen and one hydrogen. So they collect that hydrogen and use it for to run the cars with. So if we have a lot of water like this, why don't we think about in the future what can we do? I know there is certain things that we keep throwing here on our show here, which we know certain things can take more than 20 years to come to pass. But it's something that we need to think about it. We don't need to run away from the water. We need to deal with it, but we need a government that has a gut to deal with all our issues in South Sudan, including the flood of water. Before we close, I know I just did it in a rush. I want to give any one of you 1 minute. Please tell
Yeah,
us
yeah,
what was burning in
there is.
your heart. What was burning in your heart that we didn't say? Could be a question, could be a comment that you want to finish. So if the Largin
There is
came
a,
up first,
there is a
so let
comment.
me give you first, the Largin. Okay, go
Yeah,
ahead.
probably
1 minute,
is
you
a
have
comment
1 minute. Mm.
is a burning comment here because if things change at all, sometimes we get interested on how they change, but I don't see a geographical thing will change. So I would like to tell the people that the map you have shown about Lake Albert is not a correct map, because what is happening here is that the water is determined where it come from and where it go. So the water that is moving in Africa along the Nile, it coming from Lake Victoria and it end at the Mediterranean Sea. So before it reach to Mediterranean Sea, it passes through some lake. And actually, the guy that was drawing that map, he was trying to make the lake, the some of the lake or the map and the river very tiny, small, and make it that one very light, so you cannot see it. The reality is that the water is still, actually the source is Lake Victoria. So the water move and go to what they call Lake Kayaga, and then the water still move. So Lake Albert has no source. It just the same source that come from Lake Victoria. And then it keep going, it go to Juba. When it go to Juba, it go to Khartoum, and then it join with Lake Tana. The reason we say Lake Tana has a source because there was a flow from Lake Tana, and then they go to Lake Nasser before they go to Cairo. So this is the flow of the water. Has never been changed up to now. They still go to the same direction. Lake Albert has no source. It has no its own source like Lake Tana. There is no water come from lake except the water that come from Lake Victoria, and then they go to Lake Kaiga, and then they go to Lake on their way they go to Lake Albert, and then they go to Juba. So my brother, do not be like cheated. And even this one is taught in I think in maybe grade 9 or high school in Africa, all the country in Africa, Ethiopia, Eastern African country, they teach this geography. So why do we have to pull ourselves here? So I don't think it's that one. I think you need to just drop it. It's not correct. So let's not try to pull out. This is the correct one. Lake Tana has no source of its own water. The water that comes from Lake Tana, it comes from Lake Victoria. This is the true one. So that's what the comment I wanted to mention about the map that you have shared.
Yeah, so that is true. But I think what Brother Jeremiah did, I think he just looked from Lake Albert, and he see the trunk of it as it goes up. It goes up as the Nile. But if this map is true, if you are saying like is really it's a start from Lake Victoria, and there is this small become small river, the trunk of it coming from Victoria, and then goes to Lake Kaiwania, which is what Kaiwania or something like that, and then goes from there goes and meet with and I think and then it's funnel into the Lake Albert. And if the Lake Albert, as you say, it has no source, then it's become just like a reservoir. And then when it's full, it just flow from there, is make a trunk, and then it's go from there and become the White Nile. So yeah, I think I'm not going to say, Jeremiah, you are wrong, because the Nile, the White Nile, is connected to Lake Albert, but also there is a small rivers that the source of it coming from Lake Victoria, going through different other 3 lakes in the middle there, but is all coming from Lake Victoria. So let us
Well,
agree. Let
well,
us disagree to agree at the end of the day. Go ahead.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just interjection. I'm just one. I hate to interrupt. So we don't want to divert from the topic. I think we can say something geographically or whatever, and then it could be not the true. But it's not the point of our topic today, right? Where we are not talking about where the lake come from. We're talking about the what caused the flooding. I think that is very important. And instead of we go back and
Yes.
and talk
Yes.
about who is
Who
right
say
or
what and
something
who
like
say
that.
what? Yeah. No,
Yeah.
you are right. Totally, you are right. But because it was a burning issue, and I want to confirm to them, as Lake Albert is connected to Nile, Jeremiah is not wrong. But it's still, as the source of Lake Victoria is the main source. Those that is not so we know, because as we are trying to make sure that we say also the correct information. But the source, it doesn't matter. But we are talking about the flood. So, Guy, what is your final thoughts?
Mm. Well, my final thought is really a good topic. To be honest, by the way, I think we need to do it again to educate more people about this. It's very important. Uh, Another thing that I need to add is we need to build a concrete wall along the River Nile. In case if something happened, then we can have a long and we can tawil concrete, that can help us, until we build a dam for ourselves. And building dam for ourselves, we don't need to take permission from our neighbor country. We have seen Ethiopia when they did it. They were doing a good job, and when they did the second one, now that's when the problem started. Uganda also, they have their own to generate power, stuff like that. So for us as Sudan, we're supposed to build one for ourselves to generate power and to help us with the disaster that's going on. The unified forces that we have in South Sudan, the 84,000, they can help us too to build the wall that I'm talking about. Also, the drain that Dol Largen was talking about. Those are the things that we can use for emergency purpose. That way, at least we are ready. If this issue continue, will be coming every year. We need to have solution for it. Build a wall that we can help us. At meantime, until we find solution, until we build our own dam. That's what I want to mention. That will help us a lot. And the government need to put budget to disaster when things like that happen. What do we need to do? We need to hire experts from different countries to help us. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Guy. Mabur, what is your last minute thought?
Actually, it's like I agree with all. But the only one thing that I want to put here, I have a little bit disagreement. What come out of our mouth is what causing us a problem. Why I say this, I'm not trying to attack someone. We always hearing part of our nation, source part of our nation, talking about that the Upper Nalian and Barkadalian are invading their land. And we, the leaders who happen to be a party leaders, will come exactly and saying the same what people are crying for, and try to backing it up and say people should move there. So which means we are fueling the fire itself. So, brother, I disagree with you. And people of Equatoria must live in their area. Even I start to supporting them that the capital should be moved out from their land because it's caused them a lot of problem. Someone never used.
Okay, you want to make it summarize it because we need to close, otherwise it's going to divert us again.
Thank you. Someone who used not to care for animal, you cannot pushing him to care for animal. Someone who never used to care for a fishing, you cannot use that person and say, hey, I have to teach you doing fishing. It cannot work. So all this only by willing. Someone should learn by his own willing. You know? So let me cut it short there. And brothers, Gailam, you brought a good question. You brought a good ideas that we need to talk about this again. Actually, we need to find the person that has been named as a minister of dam and can even come and tell us what is the option when all these things are going like this. That's the one thing that I could piece for. So come to the water. What I mentioned about this area, a canal, it's not an easy thing. Canal is already been done long time ago, and Egypt want to open it. It's because he knew that South Sudanese are rejected that. All this flooding that going on in South Sudan today is involved political. To make sure South Sudanese should suffer and say, forget it, let the canal be open. So that's the agenda that going behind it. Almost 7 years here in Canada, I already find that somewhere. They are working on that. They are employing Canada and United States and Israel. Those are supporting Egypt to make sure that canal should be open. And they know that South Sudanese are rejected that for good. Now they involve this kind of politics, dirty politics, convening Uganda and convening Sudan. And now they pressure us into a middle, so South Sudanese who are suffering should say, enough is enough. Let's open this what they call it, canal. So all water will go. And then at the end, we are the people who will suffer. So all these are tactics. And let our people be wise on this. Thank you.
Thank you. With no further ado, I think every time we say that we will make it within 2 hours, it never happened. But anyway, with no further ado, Brother Jeremiah, what is your final thought?
Thank you for the last opportunity. Yeah, I would like you to say, historically, that some of the places they don't get flood along the river Nile. Something like to do 10 kilometers or 15 kilometers from the river Nile, they're okay. So government should initiate or should facilitate a process so that people could go away, can move further from the river Nile. Like this, and I already said, this could be one of the solutions because there's some places they don't get a flood historically. government had to move the countries or some of the Are you getting me?
No, Jeremiah, we lost you for a few seconds there.
Yeah, okay. I hope you have got my point. I was saying that people move away or move away about 10 kilometers or 15 kilometers from the river Nile based on the advice given by the local people, because they know very well some of the areas where flood water don't reach there. And what I was saying, and the government has to initiate that, or government had to facilitate to move away further a bit from the river Nile to avoid flood. This is one of the issues. This is one of the solutions. And with the issue of Canal Jungule project, yeah, I know when it was destroyed by Jammus Battalion, and I appreciate Brother Mobor for letting us know what he had saw in the Western countries regarding what is going on with Egypt, or to revive the Canal Jungule project. So we were not aware about it, and this is the issue of the government. And but it is good to know something about it. When it comes to the migration to Equatoria, you see that one does not work at all. It has no basis. Like Mobor had said, it is immigration, illegal immigration, or such kind of immigration is one of the big problems in South Sudan. So no one will encourage that in the country. Even non-Equatorial, they will not accept that one, and it's supposed even not to be discussed, because it is like a bombshell. You see, you are talking about taking somebody's land. Why don't you find a solution like those who already said? We have to find the solution for areas, and we already said one of the solutions would be government had to improve the life standard by embarking on development, and development will bring a lot of things, infrastructures, and even to improve livelihood of the citizens. And again, I would like to say education is not the issue. To say like we have less or we are not educated, and these are some of the issues affecting our country. I don't believe in that. There is no connection between being faithful, not to steal money, with connection. Even the educated person can steal. But like in the Arab world, I don't think most of the rulers are educated. But what happened? They're often to the people, they're happy to do something good for their own people. But if you don't find that will in South Sudan, someone is saying, let me just do something for all, so everybody will be happy. So what happened? We are looting our, and we are saying it is a lack of education. No, I've never seen a president in the United States, or I never heard a president in the United States who is a PhD holder, or in the Western world. We have enough educated people, but it is just the money. It is just the money to hire or to initiate project with the West, or with those companies who can be able to do it. You pay them. It has nothing to do with the education. Otherwise, in some sense, most of our educated people, they think alike with those one in the villages. Those one in the offices in Juba, they have the same mentality with those one in the villages. Sometimes you confuse why education is like this in South Sudan. So our problem is civilization and being honest to one another. And from here, I would like to to stop here because of the time. And back to you, Brother Paul. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Before I give William his last chance, I'm just looking certain sometime once in a while at certain comments, and I agree with Emmanuel Papiti Loal, and he said that we're supposed to train our military engineers to manage our water resources. Of course, يعني الجيش بتاعنا هناك بدل ما يقعد يقتلوا في جنوبين من زمان ده، معلش جزء منكم ناس اس بي ال، لكن يعني احسن نوظفوكم شويه عشان تبنوا البلد، اعملوا شوارع، ابنوا خيران، ابنوا ريزرفوارز، بيارات، عشان شنو نقدر نعالج مشكله بتاع المويه ده. يا ريت الجيش يوفروا طاقه بتاعهم لبناء او اداره كوارث بتاع المويه، بدل ما يقعدوا يقتلوا في شعب بتاعهم كل سنه. Anyway, William Goldit, your last thought.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I think I agree with Guy that this topic is very important because, we're seeing we have a lot of issues now, as you all mentioned, issue of resettlement issues, and مشاكل بتاعة توطين الناس ينقل when we lost people lose their livelihood. So and we cannot build. And I remember, if I'm not wrong, I heard from somebody, but I'm not sure if it is true, that Salva Kiir was recently on official visit to Jungule, and then there was opening of the highway or something like that. But because of the flooding, what I heard is that this highway has been destroyed by the water. So we will not build our infrastructures under this situation unless we find a solution. That's why it is very important if the government or all individual Southern Sudanese, that whatever discussion is by the group or wherever or by internet, or we do our own research, is very important to get the information and then we act accordingly. So yeah, what I want to say here is that individually when we send our children to school, بنرسلهم لأي مدرسة أنت داري أولادك يدرسوا قانون ولا يدرسوا شنو، ده عملية يرجع لك. Okay, but when we're talking about training people, it's the government responsibility that departmentally speaking, that the government, let's say the government have to decide that I have a task that need to be accomplished. So for that reason, I have to send people to be trained. And those people should not be just from your relatives, but you sending them because those you think Mr. X and Y, they have ability to go and learn and come and do the work. So you're picking the people to train them and do the job you want them to do. So I think it's very important in this situation of flooding. The government should say, what I have to do, I have to send people to study the water and come and help. So it's very, very important, Yeah, another things is construction of dams, as we mentioned, is very, very important because Lake Nasser, we are talking now about Lake Albert and Lake Victoria, which the European they confuse, and there was a competition. Who will discover the source of the Nile will have a special status back home in UK. So everybody was just going up, and then, oh yes, I found it. This is the one, and then they send it back, and then but finally the Lake Victoria is the one which was the final. But if you compare it to the Lake Nasser, that is not a God-made lake like Lake Albert or Lake Victoria. And this is the huge lake in the world, one of the largest and the longest, you know. So if we have to deal with our neighbor with this huge lake they have created, we have to catch up with them too. So I think it's very important that we have to construct our own dams, and as you mentioned, Pell, in the beginning, and canals, you know, and because we need water for agricultural and industrial activities, you know. So I think it's very important, as you mentioned in the beginning, that the government can designate a certain amount. That's it. I don't know if it was Gay who say or Jeremiah, that 2% of money or budget should be put aside for those purposes. Is important, you know. So this is what I want. And last thing, which is very important for us, we have to know who is really our friend. Who is our friend? Is America? Is Egyptian? Is it Ugandan? We need, because we don't keep allowing other foreigners to come and abuse us. You know, I saw yesterday Chinese, they're going to Japan, you know, for they want to take the Southern Sudan to play there. There is another colonization coming there. So they train our own people to benefit them. And this is exactly what the white people did with the black in America by recruiting them in sport. And then who are the master? Those are just players. But American, they are the one who are beneficial, the white. You know, Chinese now, they are doing the same thing now. So if we have to find out who is our real friend, Egyptian, I think we need to abrogate this unilateral management of the water, because they have been there. Real Mosri, we don't know what they are doing. In Malakal, they have a good housing and they sit along the Nile. How can a stranger person come and manage your own water in your own countries? So that relationship is not working. It should be abrogated and replaced with a mutual relationship where we will have a democratic joint managing body. You know, maybe from Uganda, from South. So if it's not working, and then South has a right to build its own dam and to then set up the mechanism to manage its water. You know, this is what I want to say, Pal. Thank you.
And thank you to all of you. And I think our brother Tong Kok, he was helping us there too. And he say Pibur River is seasonal. So all these rivers that are seasonal, we're supposed to build a dam there. Let us hold that water, okay, till the dry season come, and then we let them go. So those are good places to build the dam, because if they are seasonal and then they bring water, they add more water to the river Nile, and we got flooded. So we could hold those water up there during that season of raining, and with building dams and generate for us electricity. And during the summer, we use them for irrigation. By this, I would like to say thank you so much, guys, all of you. Mabor welcome, William Goldi, Dr. Dalarjin, Jeremiah, and my son here, Guy Lam. Thank you so much, all. And I will not forget also to say a word of thanks to our brother Simon behind the curtain there, helping us also with the show. And in all, also I would like to give a special thanks to our viewers. Thank you, Tom, so much. Please share this video, and let us help somebody like Madingor to fix South Sudan. Thank you so much, all. And for this, I will say goodbye, and see you guys next week. Thank you so much.
I,
Thank you.
I I thank you very much, Brother Pat, for a big contribution, and you always take the burden. That's the only thing that I will tell you. And also, too, don't forget the lakes that the river that they're talking that is drying every summer is a Gila River. We know that. Sometimes it takes people. And
thank you so much. Okay. The control gonna play for us the music, and have a good night to all of you.
Thank you.